Cooper Kupp trending in the right direction to play week number 7. So get ready for that return. We've got a lot of other news to cover, a lot of other things to discuss, some phone calls to be had, some super chats to be had. The Fantasy Football Show week number 7, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern edition show that airs on a Wednesday. Begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday,
8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Wanted. The top most wanted outlaws are on the run. Dead or alive.
We have a lot to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, the buy low RBs, the video's up. Go get them, and people are already complaining. 2 or 3 or 4 negative Noahs and unresponsive Ungers, and I don't watch the video Ians are going, Smitty, these aren't buy low running backs, Smitty. Even though I explain in the video exactly why they're buy low, how they're buy low, and why people that say these aren't buy low capable running backs, Smitty, are going to leave those comments in the chat. But yet they don't listen, they don't watch, they don't pay attention, they don't understand. And a couple of them specifically, even though I map it out like crazy and say the reason Breece Hall's a buy low is because Smitty, how is Breece Hall a buy low? Do you watch the shows, or do you just come to the comments and start commenting because you clearly don't know what you're talking about? There are so many people worried about this Davante Adams thing right now. I'm getting tons of potential screenshot offers sent to other owners where these people are trying to get rid of Breece Hall. Hey, should I do this trade? I put it through, I set it up, and I say pull it down. There's people that think that Breece Hall's volume is going to be taken and cut into like a third. There's people that think that Davante Adams is stealing everything. Adams is going to take away from Garrett Wilson. If you're a Garrett Wilson owner, I understand your hopeful rhetoric. You think that Garrett Wilson's going to be fine. It's going to be your voice gets really high when you defend it. You say, Smitty, what do you mean, Garrett Wilson? That's hogwash, Smitty. There's no way Garrett Wilson's value is going to go down with Adam. Think about it, Smitty. I don't know why my voice is so high right now, Smitty, but think about it. Garrett Wilson's going to be fine. He's going to be fine, right? Right? Wrong. I don't think he goes away, but he's not a wide receiver 1 to the tune he was before Adams arrived. How do I know that? Because he just got on his horse for the very first time 2 weeks in a row and delivered 100-yard touchdown games. Could have had 2 touchdowns and 140-plus yards in this last contest where the new coaching regime absolutely looked 100% better. They were able to maneuver and navigate this football, matriculate it down the field differently than the old regime. The old regime stunk of Zach Wilson. It felt like Zach Wilson was back under center. It felt like they brought in Arthur Smith as play caller. Oh, it felt like they had Adam Gase. Hackett is play. Oh, Hackett and Adam Gase are like the same player, the same coach. This team had Hackett calling play. You out of your mind? That's why things stunk very badly. Hackett stinks. He stinks. His odor of anything he touches is absolutely atrocious. And what do? They shake things up. The brick comes in. The brick does what he needs to do. This coach is absolutely ready to rumble. He's got the boys firing on all cylinders. Garrett Wilson's back to form. 100-yard and a touchdown monster. Wide receiver 1, maybe 7, maybe 6 to 10 wide receiver. And now Davante Adams comes in. Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams are going to be like 2 kids in the backyard throwing the pigskin around. It's going to be, hey, read my mind. I want you to get open anywhere near the line of scrimmage, anywhere in goal line situations. This is going to be a player that absolutely is targeted near the end zone. Do you need evidence? How about Lazard? Is Lazard a good wide receiver? Not really. He's not bad. He's really not bad. Aaron Rodgers just gravitates to him. That may continue, but Aaron Rodgers, when he wants to target somebody, he's going to target them. That's why Lazard's popping off right now. He's a top 15 wide receiver in fantasy football. That's going to fade a little bit, but I bet you anything, he's still a thorn in the side of Garrett Wilson in a way. But this is going to be where Aaron Rodgers is near the red zone, in the red zone, near the goal line, at the goal line. And where's Davante Adams? Where's my counterpart that reads my mind? That guy. I'm throwing him the football. Garrett Wilson's goal line touchdown opportunities definitely get a nutsack kick if I've ever seen that happen to a wide receiver. That's definitely what we're looking at here. It's a big kick to the sack, big kick to the touchdown sack, which doesn't feel good, I might tell you. But I think the point here is that the overreaction to Hall, oh man, Hall's not going to catch the ball anymore. That's not the case. Aaron Jones, running backs in Aaron Rodgers' offenses do fine. If anything, this is very good for Breece Hall. Why? Even if you took away some of his targets and distributed them to Davante Adams, which I don't even think that's the proper way to look at this, because this is a receiver and this is a running back. And this is not really how you divide workloads up when you start talking about this. You take away from the other wide receivers in the room. You don't take away necessarily from the RB. The way I look at it is this. Breece Hall was the focal point of a defense week in and week out. If I'm a defensive coordinator, if I'm a head coach, my game plan is how do we shut down Breece Hall? They can no longer do that. They can no longer even have that conversation. Now it's how do we stop Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers from trying to knife us up? And you might say that, Smitty, Adams is older, and he may not be the 1,400-yard receiver he once was per game, but this is still a possession receiver, a guy that can get the ball at the right times, in the right spots, in the end zone, touchdown machine, etc., etc., etc. And Breece Hall is going to be a benefactor of that, because even if you dial back his touches a little bit, and the most you could do is dial it back a little bit, but if that bothers somebody, this guy's going to have wide open rushing lanes different than he had prior to this move. Davante Adams has lived in double teams, commands double teams. He'll constantly be a defensive focus. And even if he isn't the sole focus, now you have a divided attention in a defensive backfield. Now you have the entire defense divided on what they got to do. We got Garrett Wilson. We've got Adams. One could say they can't focus on any one of them anymore. And that's also a very good point and argument. Regardless of what we're talking about here, we're talking about you no longer can laser in on Breece Hall and say, let's stop them from running or throwing to this man. He's going to have more space than ever. His efficiency goes up. And like Achane, you don't want the grunt work necessarily. You want the big pop plays, the explosive plays. That's what Breece Hall is probably going to get himself into more than ever before in the last 2 years, let's say, because now the offense is threatening the defense, spreading the defense out, and Breece Hall's benefactor number one. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers benefits greatly. Davante Adams moving situations is great. He's already there. Davante Adams, he's ready to rumble. The team respects him. The momentum is strong. You could say that the Jets crapped the bed in that game, but the referee calls, everything was kind of all over the place in that game. The bottom line takeaway is that the Jets look much improved. They look like a Green Bay Packer meets a Houston Texan offense. They were constantly switching things up, moving things around, trying new things, not sticking into one specific play design, not looking very one-dimensional, predictable. And there was some drops. There was the Mike Williams wrong route run that Aaron Rodgers said, get him out of here. And now Mike Williams is as good as gone. And such a curious thing that today Mike Williams is not at practice for personal reasons, because they're trying to send him away because Aaron Rodgers said, get out of my house, give me a coffee, and then get out after you get it. because this man ran a wrong route. Aaron Rodgers was pissed off about it. They lost the game potentially because of it and for other reasons. That callback of the Braylon Allen rushing touchdown, the drop by Breece Hall, which was on him, all those things made this offense putter at times when it really should have been electric the entire night. I love what Brick did. Brick is a good coach. He's an absolute fantastic replacement for this situation. His back's not against the wall. He's playing. He's looking at this thing from a total fresh perspective without any pressure whatsoever. I love this guy. I love the way the Jets feel right now. It's a very different feeling. And at the end of the day, when we go back over to this, Breece Hall has some buy low appeal, whether Steve from accounting in the chat right now can't wrap his head around. If he wouldn't devalue Breece Hall, why would anybody? Because the world circles around me, Smitty, and my league's so talented, I wouldn't play in anything but a Shark League. My league wouldn't allow a Breece Hall trade. We're too smart and astute in my league to even let something like that occur, Smitty. So I don't know what you're talking about. Those comments make me laugh. And they make me laugh. You know what I know? What I know is that I have, as I always say, the best barometer and temperature on what trade markets really are doing, because I interact with my audience more than anybody in this industry. Super chats, comments, phone calls, live phone calls, you name it. I answer my comments as much as I can. I get all kinds of interaction going, and I see the DMs, and I see the comments, and I hear the phone calls, I hear everything, and I start to get a little whiff, a little sniff of maybe somebody's available that shouldn't be available on at least the low. Maybe just a hint of doubt is creeping in. And Breece Hall, I'm seeing enough people come to me in an hour's period of time, in a 6 hours period of time, in a 12-hour period of time that has me say, why in the hell has 17 people contacted me about getting rid of Breece Hall, or at the very least another 10 people saying, hey, are we worried about this for Breece Hall? I test the temperatures better than anyone. We've got the barometer here of trade markets and values, and I'm telling you right now, you can keep complaining all you want and say, oh, Smitty, not in my league. This can't be. Do what you want. I don't care. I'm here to help the people that absorb the sponges, not the brick walls or the rocks that are sitting there in front of me that are tough. Keyboard, telephone, tough guys, whatever the case may be. I could give two shiats about those people. I care about the sponges in the chat. Everybody drop a sponge emoji for 1 minute straight. I want nothing but sponge emojis in the chat. If you're ready to absorb Breece Hall, get it done. Gibbs, get it done. Top 5 running back. Oh, Smitty, you talk about Gibbs all the time. I can't believe. When are you giving up on Gibbs? Giving up on Gibbs? Are you out of your mind? One person, you can't trade for Gibbs. Smitty, I can't believe you think Gibbs is available. He's not in my league. I'm in a Shark League. Smitty, Gibbs is not going to be good this year. Monty's the number one. Gibbs sucks. I'm getting punched from both sides, and neither one of you know the other one exists. That's the funny part. Smitty, Gibbs is bad. Gibbs is great. Keep dropping the sponge emojis. Let it rain sponges for at least a minute. Go get Gibbs. Go get Hall. Go get Achane. Bye week free. Gibbs, bye week out of the way. Bye week free. Walker, monster. Just needs more volume, but he's a touchdown machine. His nose for the end zone's like no other. Jonathan Taylor, very close to coming back. Still could sit a week. Make sure you trade cautiously, but I love trading for him while his owners are 2 wins in, 3 wins at most. They're saying, I can't wait on JT. Smitty, no one's going to give away JT. Yes, they will if they've got 2 wins. And guess what? While you're sitting there typing up your TPS report, going, oh, I'll get onto that trade later. Smitty said, go ask about JT. Let me change over and retype this TPS report. Yep, there we go. All of a sudden, incoming email. You've got mail, Steve from accounting, typing up your TPS report. Let's check this mail. Open up my mail. There it is. Maggie from billing just ripped off Bob from repo and took JT. If only I knew JT was going to be had for pennies on the dollar like Smitty told me. I would have made that move. Stop complaining. Stop complaining, and you're going to miss if you don't take shots. And every offer you send out expected to get rejected to the tune of 18, 19, 15 offers in a row. It takes at least 15 to 20 offers if you're offering trades that greatly benefit you. It takes 15 to 20 offers to get one acceptance. You go and throw 3 offers at the wall and come back to me and say, Smitty, no one's trading in my league. How many offers have you sent out, Mike? I sent out 3 last night. And in between my eating my vegetarian bowl and doing my yoga stretches, I sent out 3 offers to 3 different people, 1 per team. And they rejected them, Smitty. No one's trading in my league, Smitty. This is not like you said. You are making me really frustrated, Smitty. I can't make the trades you're suggesting. I just say get back to your yoga, Mike. Get back to your yoga. Where were we? Where in the hell were we? Oh, yeah, Cooper Kupp. I went sideways. I took a right turn. I don't know. I somehow I'm back. Cooper Kupp trending in the right direction for week number 7. Okay? There's a chance he doesn't play. There's a chance he's kind of limited. But at the end of the day, Cooper Kupp is here to win leagues. Keep in mind that Deebo Samuel, before he got hurt, top 5 wide receiver, and we called that. That's a Mars man. That's what you do. That's what you call a Mars man. Cooper Kupp, top 1 to 5 wide receiver. We called that. Rashee Rice, we called that. Those are 3 top 5 wide receivers that weren't expected to be anywhere near their values. Deebo, Kupp, and Rashee Rice were outside everyone's top 5 wide receivers. Outside a lot of people's top 8 to 12. They were lingering all over. Kupp was around probably, I would say, low-end wide receiver 1 material, but at one point in the offseason when we were pumping out the Kupp content, he was well outside the top 12 wide receivers. Rashee Rice, well outside the top 12 wide receivers. Deebo Samuel, well outside the top 10. These are 3 top 5 wide receivers that we called on this channel, 2 of which, Deebo and Kupp, got a little bit of a delay. One of them got ripped right out from under us, which is wild. That the 3 wide receiver breakout calls or bounce back calls, however you want to categorize these 3, we got hurt on all 3 of them. Well, this man's here to reclaim the amount of production and greatness that he was popping out per game, per start. And it may not happen fully in this week 7 if he plays, but get ready because he is bye week free. He's coming in trying to make a statement. McVay's trying to get the offense well-oiled. They're trying to make a run right now. They've got the talent to do it. They just need all the pieces together. McVay definitely has some injuries all over the entire roster, and people judge the Rams still, which is hilarious. They're going to try and do what they can do. Make a run. Stafford had an injury, back injury. He's always banged up, but he's ready to go. Kupp feels like he's trending to ready to go. Kyron's well rested. Kyron might just be the number 1 overall pick. If we were drafting today, this man might be the number 1 overall pick.
He's Kyron. He's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron. He can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
Let him cook.
Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, but Smitty, he's returning punts. How is Kyron Williams going to be a spaceman when he's returning punts? I don't understand. This is the biggest absolute bust ever. And you know who else is coming back on a tear? Bring it in, boys. Bring it in. Bring it. More. All right. Set it down. You don't have to be gentle. This man gained 10 pounds in the offseason. He's ready to rumble. His name is Devon A-Chan.
A-Chan. A-Chan is the man. His haters call him small.
But he is 9 feet tall.
A-Chan is the man.
Get Breece. Get Lambed.
Lamb is the next guy. Lamb is such a fun... Real quickly, before we continue with the news, we're going to get the Super Chats in a little bit, so hang tight. But let's get to the wide receiver video that is up, and you can go watch this as well. This is up. The graphic and the title will tell you this is the Week 7 buy low wide receivers. This is the Week 7 buy low RBs. So if you haven't watched those videos, go watch them. This is the best value at the wide receiver position, period. Period. I don't want to hear it. End of discussion. Don't mention another name. If we're nailing it down to one player, CeeDee Lamb Chop Lamb. Get Lamb.
Get Lambed.
CeeDee Lamb Chop Lamb is going to cook lamb chops like no other here very soon, probably in this upcoming week. But here's what's interesting. Most people tie everything to the Dallas Cowboys' success and likelihood to be a good team this year. That's not relevant. To a degree, you wonder if a player gets banged up in week 15, 16, and their team is out of it, could they step out and not finish the season? That's always a threat, okay? But this is also a team that I don't believe will be as bad going forward as everybody makes it out to be. I think this is a team that if they miss the playoffs, they're still fighting for the playoffs. They're not so far out of it that they're just going to pack it in or something. They're fighting for a playoff spot. No one's saying they even get one. This team is in shambles, and their owner, I don't know of a more ridiculous owner in the history of the NFL than this guy, Jerry Jones. This guy is an absolute clueless imbecile. And he goes on a radio show, The Fan. He says he pays the guys salaries or something, but I think there's like an affiliation between The Fan being the Cowboys' official home of radio. But I don't know that he actually owns the radio station. Maybe he does or something. And these the fan crew, this radio host crew of 3 people, they hit him with some tough questions. And they're like, Jerry, why didn't you get Derrick Henry? He's like, look, we're not going to have this discussion. They're like, but Jerry, and he basically says, if you're not going to ask me the questions I want to be asked, I'll find someone else who will. He basically told these guys he was going to fire them, which I don't even know if he could do. I don't even know if he owns the station or if it's just an affiliation that is so expensive that he technically has a hold over the radio station. But Jerry's been surrounded by yes men his entire career. If I had the opportunity to interview Jerry, the first words out of my mouth would make him get up and walk away. I'd say, Jerry, I don't even think it'd be a question, it'd be a statement. Jerry, you've been surrounded by yes men your entire life, and especially this year. And I'm not going to be one of those yes men. Are you ready for a tough interview? He would get up and walk out. Jerry's a debacle. And this Dallas Cowboy team is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. If you're a Cowboy fan, you're more mad than I am. I'm not even offending you if you're a Cowboy fan. You're sitting here going, Smitty, is this all you got? I'm out burning jerseys, Smitty. What are you doing? What are you doing for the cause? I'm doing the best I can, ranting and raving on Jerry Jones. But Jerry Jones doesn't go get Derrick Henry, and then he tries to justify it. We didn't have any money. Don't give me that. The running backs cost pennies on the dollar. You kidding me? Don't give me that running. I can't buy a running back storyline. Absolute ludicrous. Okay? Lamb is going to get fed even in this chaotic environment. He just got paid. Jerry waits till the last second to pay everybody. Doesn't get his running back room under control. Doesn't get it buttoned up at all. Okay, maybe Jerry. This is what we thought. Maybe Jerry isn't going after Henry or Barkley or Jacobs because he's gonna draft Smitty's favorite rookie. When we're talking about January evals, I did my rookie evals, my number one rookie in January before landing spots were dished out or anything. And I do love Trey Benson a lot. Braylon Allen, number one rookie on this channel in the January forward situation. And we love this kid.
Mashed potatoes!
We love him. We love him. Braylon Allen is a monster. Braylon Allen is maybe 11 feet tall. Maybe 11 feet tall. Word is he's 11 feet tall. This guy would absolutely eat the offensive line, the defensive line for breakfast if he could, if it was within the confines of the rules. This is a Derrick Henry offspring. So we thought maybe Jerry's going to do this, right? Jerry's going to somehow, some way bring in Braylon Allen. They don't. He's messed up this offseason from start to finish. Overpaid CeeDee Lamb, Dak, because you waited too long. What benefit? Tell me one benefit there was for waiting. Their price tags went up every single day. What did he accomplish? He wanted to save money and scrimp and not spend on Derrick Henry. He could have got Derrick Henry at the beginning of the offseason and still signed Dak and CeeDee, save money by doing it early, and it would have been the same amount of expense. Who's helping him? What yes men said yes to all of this? Because you're at fault as well. But reeling it back, we're still looking at a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where CeeDee Lamb's going to feast. Dak Prescott is getting so much hate when it's not even all his fault. He's looked phenomenal before. Yeah, is he the best quarterback in the league? No, he's not. Is he a top 5 QB in the National Football League? No, he's not. Is he an elite player? No, but is he a good quarterback? He is. If you think Dak is a bad quarterback because you're riding the current wave of negativity and lack of production on a team that's in shambles, on a team that didn't get supported properly, on a team where you're asking ridiculous things of your QB, on a team where there's tons of turmoil and spotlight and negativity and all kinds of craziness, that is and not to mention CeeDee Lamb not being there, the jiving in the initial part of the offseason, the late part of the offseason. This is a situation where Dak Prescott's been handed a bad deck of cards. Not a bad hand, a bad entire deck of cards. He's still a good quarterback. If you think Dak Prescott isn't a top 12 quarterback in the National Football League, I'm sorry. You either, one, don't know football, or two, you're just a big fandom guy for your team, and that's fine. I understand that. Most people that rip on Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen in almost embarrassing degrees, in embarrassing ways, they're always like a diehard Niner fan or a diehard, rival fan. That's just the nature of it. Like when someone says, oh yeah, Hurts is garbage, I'm like, oh yeah, Niners are your team? Okay. Yeah, Hurts is garbage. Okay, sure. All right. And no one's saying Purdy isn't good. Purdy's a top 10 quarterback right now, too. He absolutely is. He's playing great. Purdy's maturing and developing. But is he a top 4 or 5 NFL quarterback? No. I think he flirts in that other half of the top 10 to 12. No doubt about it. He's locked. Purdy's locked in the 6 to 12. But a Niner fan hears you say 6 to 12, and they get offended. They think, what? 6 to 12? You don't think Brock Purdy's the number one quarterback in the National Football League? Let's pull up the stats. Let's not have conversations about having such an arsenal of weaponry around him and an amazing system that a lot of quarterbacks would shine in. Okay, we don't even need to go there. My point is, if you think Dak Prescott is going to turn into a pumpkin or already has, and that's your rationale for hating CeeDee Lamb, because you don't belong in the sport of fantasy football, in the game of fantasy football, if you think Lamb's the problem. Okay, no doubt that there's a problem. Why isn't Lamb exploding? There's a problem. Houston, there's a problem. Dallas, there's a problem. But if you think it's Lamb, you don't belong in fantasy football in the space at all, and you shouldn't have Lamb on your roster. You should have Lamb removed by the commissioner from your team if you're disrespecting his skill set or abilities at all.
Get lambed.
But this is for all of you that think that Lamb is not the problem, but that this situation won't be good. Dak is a very, very, very good quarterback, not an elite quarterback, but a very, very good quarterback that is going to feed lamb chops the ball like you can't believe in the second half of the season. And this man is going to be spoon-fed. This team's going to try to fight back despite the obstacles that Jerry has set in front of this roster and these teammates. They're going to do it for themselves. Whether they make the playoffs or lose in the first round or squeak in using a wild card seat or whatever the case may be, they're still going to be fighting to the end because it's a good enough team, a good enough arsenal of weaponry to get in the mix and stay in the mix long enough to give Lamb Chops a top 5 wide receiver season going forward. And I'm telling you right now, you can buy him cheaper than any big name player in fantasy. If you want my 2 win a league moves in fantasy, actually I'll give you about 3 or 4. Number 1 or 2 is going to be Lamb Chops as the best go-get player. Despite being a big name and still costing a pretty penny, he's significantly discounted. Like when you think about the amount of discount he has, yes, in the upper echelon of players, the equivalent of that on a lesser named player is like 2 or 3 rounds. So if you're getting Lamb a top 1 to 5, listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Top 1 to 5 overall player. You didn't hear me say wide receiver or misspeak. Top 1 to 5 capable overall player going forward. You heard me. That's why he's a discount. Some of you think that's crazy. That's why he's a discount. You don't think that. He's a top 1 to 5 overall potential player. If you think that getting him at 12 or 13 or 14 overall equivalent value isn't one of the biggest steals in fantasy, you don't know math either. You may not know football, and you definitely don't know math, because the relationship between that drop and, let's say, a mid-second rounder falling to round 4, that is more significant. Getting the potential number 1 to 5 overall player at like what would be top of second round value equivalent if drafting today is the biggest smash known to man. It's 100% difference. It's climbing an entire 12 rounds out of 12 picks, or 12 picks out of 12 picks. You're climbing 100% up the ladder straight to the number 1 spot. If he produces top 1 to 5 overall value, you win your league on such a trade. Such a stretch, Denny. Denny, don't call in because I'm not answering yet. But Denny, I appreciate you being here. One of the best values in fantasy right now. Big name player doesn't matter. Neighbors, look, depends on your league. I've seen people freak out right now because he's trending in the right direction right now. We'll go over that in a minute. He's trending in the right direction, but there's still concern. And so his owners are impatient. Don't think he's not available via trade. His owners are very impatient right now. Very impatient. Deebo Samuel was limited with the wrist today, by the way. We had some other pieces of news. Drake May underwent an MRI on Wednesday with his knee. So, May listing as a full participant in Wednesday's practice, just to let everybody know. We had Cooper Kupp, ankle limited in Wednesday's practice, but trending in the right direction. Those are all the other pieces of news that dropped. I got more news coming that I'm going to go over in a second. But we got to discuss this a little further, and then we're going to get into the rest of the news and the super chats. Neighbors is available in some leagues. Some people are freaking out. People that have 2 wins, 1 win, even 3 wins to a degree. Those people are literally looking for an answer to give them 2 more players. So if you could go get Neighbors and get, or trade Neighbors away and get 2 pieces that help your team, and you're a 2-win team, you're thinking about it differently than a 5 or 6-win team. So there's some value there, but he's not the best value, period. He's one of them. Lamb and the other player that I'll put on screen real quickly are the best values in fantasy right now. Gibbs at RB, best value in fantasy. Achan's a close second. Walker is right up there. JT, if you buy him at the right price. These are all absolute phenomenal values, but the best value may be CeeDee Lamb, because you can get him in what appears to be top of second round equivalent value. Neighbors, great. Tyreek Hill, another league winning player. There's a chance that he returns immediately to the top 5 wide receivers, immediately upon Tua's return. Now, can we guarantee Tua stays upright all year? Maybe he takes 1 shot and is out again. That's possible. But the risk level is low. Or in the case of like you've got a 2 or 3 win record, you've got to take a big freaking monster Lucille swing at the situation, at the problem. If you don't take a Lucille swing, a big home run, swing, why are you even playing? And if you're worried or petrified about something going awry, why are you in a sport like this? Why are you playing a game where there's fun and risk and adrenaline and all that? We've gotten too soft. We're getting soft. This is going to offend about 40% of the people watching right now. Maybe 60% of you are hardcore non-softies. But we're getting a little soft, where we want to have a 100-point lead going into Monday night because we can't handle the pressure. I'm soft. I don't want it to be a close game. Smitty, it's a nail-biter. Who wants this? You did when you signed up for the sport. To begin with, when you started playing this game of fantasy football, you got into it because your buddy said, want an adrenaline rush, Steve? You want to have an adrenaline rush, Steve? You said, yes, I do. This sounds fun. You and me, our team's going at it back and forth all week, and it comes down to a Monday night Hail Mary. That sounds like a great time. And now all of a sudden, we got 40% of the fantasy football population getting soft because they want a 150-point lead going into Monday night, or they've got anxiety. I've got anxiety, Smitty. I can't handle this. Hold on. My wife's bringing me my lunch. I'm not allowed to go eat out at the pizza joint. I've got my delivery of my vegan salad. It's coming, and then later on during my yoga practice, we're going to get soft, and we're not going to watch the game. I can't even watch the game, Smitty. I need a 150-point lead because my wife won't even let me watch the game, and I have anxiety over this. And now I'm going to quit. I'm a quitting quitter. I'm a quitting quitter. That's what I am, because I can't handle the negativity anymore. I can't handle the injuries. My player got hurt. What good is this? I'm out. My adrenaline can't take it, Smitty. I'm a softie. Toughen up, buttercups. This is a game riddled with injuries, riddled with challenges, and there are hardcore fantasy football owners out there. Hardcore people that will take on orphan dynasty teams where someone looked like they dragged the team in the mud across the gutter. Nobody's left. They have no draft picks for 3 or 4 years. They come in and say, challenge accepted. Orphan team, I can turn this around. Some of the softies today wouldn't even attempt that at all. Yeah, can I get you an ice cream cone? As Eric just pointed out in the chat, softies, toughen up. Tyreek Hill, my whole point, worth the risk. Why is he worth the risk? Because it's an adrenaline rush. And this guy might be a top 1 to 5 wide receiver immediately upon Tua's return. And let me tell you something crazy. This guy still could perform this week without Tua. He could still have 150 yards, and everybody's going to say what? he's untouchable. Why? Because if he could have 150 yards without Tua, and Tua's coming back next week, he's back, baby. This is one of the best buy lows in all of fantasy football, along with lamb chops, and in some cases, the freak out Freddies that have a 2 or 3 win record that have neighbors that are scared about the news today, they might get rid of them. Nico Collins could win you leagues if you've got a 4-win record or above, even if you're a frisky Freddy that's not scared, a non-scared Noah, and you're sitting there looking at, I've got 3 wins, but I'm going to put my cojones on the table, Smitty, and I'm going to go after Nico for players that I can kind of accumulate on my bench, or maybe one of my flex or wide receiver 3 pretty good starters. And then I got like Mooney, or I got someone on the bench that I kind of like. I'll throw them in for 3 weeks, supplement. And while I wait on Collins comes back and is a top 5 wide receiver. I win my league. These are steals. Achane, Gibbs, Collins, Hill, Lamb Chops, Puka Nacua. Collins and Puka Nacua. This is the injured quad. These are the quad amigos here. These guys are absolutely gems. The injured quad right here. Now, Kupp is kind of venturing over into this other range because he's coming back from injury. But you could stash Nico. You could stash Collins. You could stash Marvin Harrison Jr. And Harrison's a short-term stash. But you don't know if he's going to go through what Neighbors is going through. You have no idea. These concussions are out of pocket. They're different. I don't know if someone passed the buck on making the helmets this year, and this news will break later. Did someone make them out of carbon paper? What are we doing? Why are the concussions bigger and greater than ever? Why is everybody missing 2 and 3 games now? It's like clockwork. Everything's a cycle and repetitive in this league. What's going on? Doesn't make any sense. How does a concussion keep you out no games last year, and now you're missing 2 and 3 weeks? Why is every concussion player in a fencing position now? Like, does anybody looked into this? Do we know why this is happening? It does not seem like a coincidence that can be explained. It seems like a wild situation. All right, here we go. News. Let me get the news out of the way. Then we go straight to the Super Chats. We're a little bit behind on the Super Chats. I think you guys know it's like a nice restaurant. You know, once you get your table, I know you've had a long wait. You'll be handled and taken care of. So please wait. Oh, God, talk about soft. Talk about soft. This guy, Russell Wilson. Anybody watch this today? What in the hell is Tomlin doing? What in the hell is Tomlin doing? I watched Russell Wilson, who's about a foot shorter than Justin Fields. Looks like a little kid on the field. Looks like Tomlin brought his son to practice, and he's rotating with Justin Fields, taking reps. But Justin Fields looks like he's on fast forward, running around doing a bootleg or just doing a little jog or meander around the field, little turn, twist, little throw. Looks fantastic. Looks on point. He's speedy. He's quick. He's swift. Russell Wilson trying his best to replicate what Fields is doing. Russ turns around like a snail and just drags his body like he hasn't run in weeks. And he does this little like roundabout, like almost like a plane's got to turn around. It takes a lot of space to turn around. It can't do a quick turnaround like Fields. Fields is like a jet. He can turn around in the middle of the air like this. This guy Russell Wilson has to take a long grandpa turn to get around the field. He takes up almost the entire field to run this little U-shaped path that he's running right here in this drill. He runs this little U-shaped path and throws the slowest ball, runs the slowest amount. It just absolutely looks like some kid out there. It's wild to me. This kid, he's Russell Wilson, but it looks like a kid. This guy's going to get crushed. The Steelers are maybe going to lose because of this decision. Ron Navy even told me that. He thought that they were going to lose, which I was not surprised to hear. But Tomlin is making an absolute monster mistake here, monumental mistake. And I do believe at some point Fields will be back in. So if you own Fields, the reason I'm even going on a rant on this is I think there's a chance that if people cut Fields and you're in dire need in a super flex, you may want to grab him and stash Fields on your bench. It could be a league-winning move for you if you don't have a second quarterback. So monitor the hell out of your waiver wire. Stay on top of it and know what time it is. The time is Fields is eventually going to get the job back, because this guy, I don't think he's going to make it through a game. It looks like he's probably just going to get hurt, and then it's like we won't really know. It'll be one of those ambiguous returns of Fields. But the fact that Tomlin hasn't anointed his starting quarterback, Justin Fields, makes him incompetent in certain ways. Does he win? Is his defense good? Does his team always just grit it out? Yeah, but Fields won you those 4 games. Like, what in the hell are you doing? This is a mockery. And if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm pissed off. And I'm confused. And if I'm Justin Fields, I'm offended because you haven't put your faith in me yet. You keep stringing me along. Mike Williams did not practice today due to a personal reason. That's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Davante Adams listed as a full participant in practice. Number 17's back. And honestly, we got to redo the video. The video that I'm redoing is remarkable for the New York Jet, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson video. That's coming, but let's play the tail end of that because at the very least, Rodgers has new toys yet again.
You're right.
Garrett Wilson and the boys.
You're right.
Rodgers has new toys.
You're right.
The lights, the heat.
You're right.
A Jets fan complete.
You're right.
You don't want to test Sauce Gardner's heat.
You're right.
I want to watch Breece Hall's quick feet.
Jets country, let's ride.
So Davante Adams, that's good news. He's ramping up. He's ready to rumble. This one here is bad news. So I said this yesterday that this smelled funny. This was very fishy. Rashid Shaheed will undergo surgery on his meniscus, and during the surgery, it will be determined if he has a full repair. If he has a full repair or trim, think of a trim kind of like when you biting your fingernails, which is a disgusting habit. That's soft. That's soft. Don't chew your fingers. That's soft. When you chew your fingers and you everybody's done it at one point. There's like some sort of part of your skin that was catching. You're like, I'm gonna take care of this, and you trim it and you pull it, and then you rip the skin off, and it's like, and it keeps going and going. You keep making it worse, right? That's what you're trying to do essentially, in a nutshell, with the knee, is you're trying to trim the meniscus so that doesn't keep pulling and catching and ripping and creating a bigger problem. So they try and cut it, okay? That's what you should be doing when you're trying to chew your soft fingers and you rip it and pull it. You need to cut it and handle it with proper tools, not your teeth or your slobbering mouth. That's soft. You take tools and you cut it and you nip it in the butt, and then it's over. Okay? That's what kind of they're doing, right? If they're trimming. If this is ripped and it's more of a concern, they got to repair it. Full repairs require an entire, or he's done for the year. You know, it's an entire gauntlet of recovery and rehab and everything. So my guess is that it's going to be a full tear. He'll be done for the season. This is horrible news for him. Good news for Taysom Hill once he gets back in ability to play. And then obviously with Olave, once Olave clears the concussion protocol with today's standards, he's probably out 2-3 weeks. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, Olave probably not. He's definitely not playing this week. They got a short turnaround with the Thursday game, so he's not playing this week. But Olave maybe is back next week, and with Shaheed out, you can expect Olave's value to skyrocket. There's a lot of value in Olave going forward if he can get healthy. There's just concern about like these concussions, but stop chewing your fingers is the lesson of the day. Just stop. It's disgusting. It's soft. Here's another report here. Russell Wilson took first-team reps in practice Wednesday per this report here. Seems like he'll be the starter over Justin Fields. Nothing's fully official yet, which is, you know, people are saying it, but it's a lot of speculation. But at the same time, you don't take first-team reps and then not start. But setbacks could happen too. Like, what if Russell Wilson looks horrible in the next couple days and he's kind of like struggling? They're going to go, you're not ready, and they'll pull him. Or they'll make an excuse. Saquon Barkley facing the Giants says that he does not expect to be booed. I don't know. This organization, the fan base, they're so mad at him for going to a rival to play for the Eagles. The owner himself on Hard Knocks said that, I just tell me he's not going to the Eagles when they totally botched the Saquon Barkley situation. And I don't want to hear they're rebuilding, they needed to do this or do that. You made your bed with Danny Dimes. And if you thought Danny Dimes, which we knew, astute people knew Danny Dimes was not the option. But if the team thought he was, your best course of action was to have a reliable RB. How about the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 RB in the league in there to help tutor and develop your QB and your offense, and to keep defenses away from trying to crush neighbors like they did the other week that got him out with a concussion. So don't give me that we're rebuilding Shiat, because it doesn't fly with me. I'm not an idiot. You can't fool me on this and say running backs are expensive. They're not expensive. The hot dog vendor makes more than the running back at the facility. The person saying cigars and cigarettes, that person makes more money than Saquon Barkley, relatively speaking. He was cheap. Him and Henry and every running back known to man make peanuts on the pennies on the dollar. They make peanuts compared to these other positions. So stop. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Barkley's probably going to get booed, especially after this comment, because the fan base was burning his jersey. They had no loyalty. They had no loyalty at all to Barkley when he made a business decision to go to a team that decided to pay him. The Giants didn't want to pay him. They made a final offer. There's Hard Knocks video footage of the owner saying, we're out. That's too much. We're out. Consider us out. And the owner was standing right next to Shine, the worst GM in the National Football League. Joe Shine's the worst GM in the National Football League. His GMing skills are as bad as Jerry Jones's owner's skills. Joe Shine's an awful, pitiful GM. Horrible. Doesn't know what in the hell he's doing. And the owner, standing there watching him mishandle everything, makes him one of the most, you could say, unaware owners, or he keeps his paws out of it, which is good, but he's oblivious as well. If he's watching this guy, Joe Shine, mess up and absolutely screw this whole situation up. Nick Chubb, look, I'm a little excited for this one. I'll admit I've been very negative on Nick Chubb's capability of returning to any sense of his old form. But the situation's kind of weird. They've gotten rid of Amari Cooper. They're going to have to lean on the run. Ford's, whatever he is, banged up, not banged up, not in the realm of even a starter anymore. You've got rotation of running backs right now awaiting Nick Chubb to return, and Nick Chubb will be in a rotation the first game out. But I'm excited for Nick Chubb a little bit. I don't know that your expectation should be that you're going to see the Nick Chubb of old at all until maybe even the very end of the year or double-digit weeks. If somehow he's a remarkable, miraculous recovery that we've never seen before on somebody that's knee got mangled, not an ACL tear. Boom. Oh, pop the ACL. This is Breece Hall's ACL tear. Here's the ACL. Breece Hall got a helmet to the side. Boom. Pop the ACL. His knee went like this. His knee didn't go like this. His knee went like this. Most ACL tears, the knee basically just moves that much. Let me show you the model. Where's the model? Where's mine? That's a foot. Where'd my knee model go? ACL tears usually, because it's a taut, very tight ligament, it just requires that. Your knee goes like that, you can tear your ACL. Nick Chubb, his knee in college went like this. I actually snapped the ACL in the model trying to show you the full extension of his college injury. That's why that snapped right there. I screwed my own model up trying to show you the Nick Chubb injury. That was what he did in college. Complete L. Complete right angle. From your knee doesn't even hyperextend that much. You can really screw up your PCL, tear your PCL. You can tear up everything going like that, right? I tore the model by going and doing a right angle. He did the same thing again as a pro, this last injury, to the side. His knee was completely to the side. the amount of arthritis that's going to set in, and that might be a year before it sets in, that makes it like, look at Christian McCaffrey's tendonitis in his Achilles. Look at Todd Gurley's knee tendonitis. Arthritis, these things are they set on quickly when the knees had major trauma or the Achilles has had major trauma, and it makes you immobile. And so that's why Todd Gurley became immobile. He looked like he was running in mud just instantly. That will happen to Chubb. We don't know if it's going to happen like right away. And so that's what we're thinking, right? Is there a 6 months, a year and a half that he could actually go do some stuff and then it starts to onset? I don't know. Hard to say. I'm rooting for it, but he's excited. It's going to be a tall order, but I'm excited to watch it. He definitely needs to be grabbed, but the odds are against him. This is more about that Jerry Jones making headlines when he was chastising the and berating the ESPN fan DJs that were interviewing him. This right here, Jonathan Taylor talking about how AR5 should be trusted. And let me say this about AR5. I think a lot of people have this situation wrong. No one's saying that AR5 is a lock to become what we once thought he'd become. No one's saying that. And I'm not trying to tell people that they should believe in that. They should invest in AR5 to any sort of like top 6 to 10 quarterback degree. But if you believe that his story's completely told and that he has zero shot at doing what Josh Allen did, look very bad as a passing quarterback his rookie year and develop, especially when he hasn't had the reps, I think you're potentially putting yourself in a situation where you're going to start rooting against him even when he does good because you're trying to stick with your take. Like, be reactive to this, be fluid, be loose. Don't sit there and act like you have it all figured out, because we don't. We've seen brilliance out of him before. I'm not saying that he hasn't been figured out by defenses or that if you make him throw, he's going to be garbage. He might. I mean, he proved that the last couple games, but we know that this guy can rush for 2 touchdowns any given game. We also know that Shane Steichen is the guy to maybe develop him into a stud. And we also know that he has a cannon, and he has the ability to be very accurate on certain plays, and he has the ability to be absolutely awful on other plays. But this is a guy in fantasy that's been cut left and right, and if you need a QB or a backup QB, it's something to look at. Maybe you had Fields and you've been riding that train. Maybe you had Derek Carr and Fields. Maybe something happened. Check and see if AR5's there. It sounds like he's going to be a go. And JT definitely feels he's the guy. And of course he's going to say that about his teammate, but he went to bat talking about it. And then they asked him in this interview how he's doing. He says he's definitely feeling better and he's going to do everything he can to get on the field. It sounded a little bit like it could be a week away, but there's still a shot that JT could potentially wake up and feel remarkable or something. But I would say plan on JT being out another week, and that makes him a really good buy low for somebody that can't wait though. So understand that and approach JT with caution, but approach him nonetheless if you need a player to buy low on at the RB position, especially if you have 4 wins or more. Aaron Jones said he will practice on Thursday. That is good news if you got Aaron Jones. It's bad news if you're hoping Chandler gets a start. Dallas Goedert did not practice Wednesday. Prepare to be without Dallas Goedert for at least a week, and we'll reassess that week to week. So we'll talk about that later. Amari Cooper, Sean McDermott said there's no decision has been made about Amari Cooper playing week 7. I don't know why you wouldn't, like, why is Adams out there ready to rumble? Why is Adams totally ready to go and this team's excited to get him out there? Why are the Bills slow rolling Amari Cooper out? I don't understand why that's the case, but kind of disappointing to hear that, especially if you own Cooper. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. This is probably one of my favorite hires of the week, so smash the hell out of this. And the code is Smitty. The link is right here. The link gets it done and enters code Smitty for you. Underdog is the best place to play fantasy football, weekly fantasy football, on top of making high or low contests like this one here. So smash the hell out of the Jameer Gibbs hire, and we've been crushing it. If you tailed my picks last week that we did on the morning show the Sunday morning show, you smashed 100%. We crushed it. The week prior, I may have missed one out of the 4 or 5 that we did. And then the 2 weeks prior to that, I smashed it. I've probably spent about $150, maybe $200.
Someone is at the front door.
Who's at the front door? Oh, hold on a second. I had the top latch of the door locked and Miss Smitty couldn't get in. Talk about take a lap moment. My bad. Rest in peace, Smitty. Jahmyr Gibbs higher. Hit that higher. Underdog fantasy. Hit Underdog. Hit the link. Code Smitty gets it done. 50% match on your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. But the minimum is only $10. So if you drop $10, they'll give you $5. But hit this higher. This is a team that I just constructed on Underdog. This got a 86, which is a high projection. Not that the projections matter, but the projection was higher than any team I'd seen in the last week doing this. 86 points is what it projected for. Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, even with the matchup, Tyreek Hill and Tucker Kraft. I also had this team was fantastic as well. If I could find the other team, actually, that might be the only one I drug on my screen. But that's a great one. You can do a draft just like this. There's 6 people in each draft. There's 36 picks. You only draft a lineup. There's no bench players. It's for week 7 only. Did I say week 6? Week 7 only. So Josh Allen, this team's phenomenal. It's loaded with talent. Go try, see if you can do better. I challenge you to do better using the link that I just dropped in the live chat. I'll drop it one more time. There it is. I'll pin that link in the live chat. Underdog, promo code Smitty. There it is. Smash that link. I think that's all the news right now. We can get to the super chats. Appreciate your patience. If anybody dropped a super chat, I'm coming for them right now. $20 haulers will get immediate attention. I apologize for the wait. This is probably the longer wait than normal. I think we've been live in a full hour doing the news and notes. So thank you very much. That's the way the show goes. But if you get the super chat in early, you're going to get handled quicker. So smart move by you guys. Let me put that super chat here. Myra with a $20 hauler. Appreciate that one. That one's Kamara or for Breece. I'd rather have Breece Hall. It's a good question. I'd rather have Breece Hall. It's close. It's arguable. But thank you for the $20 hauler. But Breece Hall for me. I like Kamara a lot. They're very, very solid running backs, both of them. But give me the monster. Give me the guy capable of being the number 1 overall player. Not that Kamara can't be top 5 or 6 at the end of the year. He's playing that at that level right now. But give me the guy that could be the number 1 overall running back in fantasy football. And the fact that people are even scared of his situation right now is laughable to me. Recommended moves, 8-man, 4-2 record. Thank you, Timothy, for the $20 hauler. Love CeeDee, Kupp, Bijan, Mason, Bowers, Metcalf, Aaron Jones, DJ Moore, Bijan. Brooks, let's see, Bijan, Metcalf for St. Brown. Bijan, Metcalf for St. Brown and Cook. I'd probably rather have, that's so tough. I feel like you asked this one before, right? Bijan for St. Brown. I'd rather do the Bijan for St. Brown one. I feel like that gets you out of the Bijan risk and gives you a very safe floor. Because if Bijan produces like St. Brown the rest of the way, we're fine with that. We would accept that. Even if you told me, Smitty, he could be better or worse, would you take St. Brown locked in for the year for Bijan? I would say, give me that production. So I would just do that trade altogether. Timothy, that's a phenomenal move if you pull it off. That's the one I want. Appreciate you. Nick with a $20 hauler. Trying to upgrade running back, but managers want me to overpay. Should I overpay? Only if you can afford to overpay. No, you should never overpay on the regular, but sometimes if you play in a 10-man league like you do, or an 8, or especially a 6, everybody's got loaded rosters, and the waiver wire is even rich, and you can just replace guys and overpay, and then it makes sense. So it depends on the offer. If you're trying to move, like, let's say Devontae Adams and let's call it Mixon for a You already got Gibbs, but like a Kyren or a Barkley, that is an overpay to a degree. You know, you're maybe to some people. But I would definitely overpay. Like Barkley might actually cost even more than that. But like, let's say Kyren, not everybody loves Kyren like we do for whatever reason. They hate him. I don't know. Like, would I trade Adams, Deontay, and Mixon? Would I give up, let's see here. You got to be careful because you're RBs. So if you give up, would I give up Mixon, Connor, and Adams for Kyren? Yeah. For Barkley? Yeah, I would. For Henry? Sure. I'd definitely overpay to a degree. Would I give up Adams for Collins? Probably. Would I overpay to get Collins onto my roster? Probably. Would I take JT for Adams and Connor and wait on JT? Yes. Would I take Achane for that same deal? Absolutely, Nick. Smash it. Appreciate you. PPR, Neighbors, AJB, Hill really want to solidify end of season run, so I acquire a great rest of season schedule. Should I trade Neighbors now that Andrew Thomas is out and DJ has no protection? Have a deal in place, Neighbors and JSN for Lamb. I would take that. I would take that. As much as I love Neighbors, I think Lamb is the best buy low in fantasy, as you saw me allude to earlier. I don't think JSN is too much to throw in. If I'm drafting today, even though Neighbors is in the top 10 to 12 potentially, Lamb is still in my top 5, as I alluded to earlier. So I would 100% do that trade. I think it's a fantastic move. Smitty mother freaking approved, my broski. This one here from Joe. Joe said, word on the curb is Hawkinson looks good. Are we starting him? I think you got to take that into Saturday night, bro, when we're hearing, like, you know, a lot of buzz about it. But definitely looking good for the rest of the season. But let's take it, you know, day to day. Traded Devontae Smith for Nico, 5-1. I don't hate this with your record. I like it. It's a smooth move, my man. Not everybody would make it. It takes some balls to do that kind of move, and I like that move. First super chat. Thank you, Cut to Chase. Appreciate you dropping your first super chat ever. Let's give you a Mars. A Mars shot, my guy. Appreciate you. First super chat. Thank you. Let's see here. We got Detroit Dabbler. Send Bijan and McBride for Gibbs and Kelsey. I would take Gibbs and Kelsey and run. Like, that is how you operate a get out of Bijan card. Which I still am going to create the how to trade Bijan video. Which, like the how to trade Mason video, will definitely emphasize, I'm not saying to trade him. I'm not saying you have to trade him. I'm merely saying if you want to, here's how you do it. And there are scenarios where I would, and there's scenarios where I wouldn't. There's also scenarios where I'd buy Mason even now. And on that video, I said I'd buy Mason, I'd sell Mason, I'd hold Mason. It all depends on the vantage point and what you can get and what you can move. Same thing with Bijan. I'd buy Bijan, I'd sell Bijan, I'd hold Bijan. That video is coming. Trade London, Davis for Achane Tolbert. I'd rather have Achane and Tolbert, but London and Davis is safer, especially immediately safer, because you still have Tua out. So if you're like 1 win, 2 wins, the London Davis side is better for you, and you might get some run out of Davis this week still. With James Cook, you know, being very, very questionable to play. Mark Cleveland with the $20 hauler. Williams with another $20 hauler. Appreciate you continuing to drop those. Williams and Cleveland, let's go. Let's answer these. Breece or Kamara for the week. For the week, I'm gonna go. That's tough. The reason I'm gonna say I love Kamara because they don't have any receivers, right? Olave's out, Shaheed's out. They're probably gonna lean on Kamara, but the problem with Kamara is that he's been banged up, and he's gonna be the focal point of the defense. I'd probably say give me Breece Hall, but there's a world where I waver a little bit because they're both playing at a top 5 level. But give me the guy that I would want long term. Give me the guy that I think you just never sit no matter what. I got T. Higgins and Chase. Thank you for the super chat, Williams. Higgins and Chase. Who should I trade T. Higgins for? Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel. You have to give up a little bit more in some of those cases. Achane, maybe give up a little bit more. JT, you might be able to do that straight up, because he's out and injured. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the $20 haulers. You guys got immediate assistance because of that. Appreciate you. Back to the top. All balls. Appreciate you, pal. Downs, Reek, Pop Douglas, Dobbs. Why would you sit Tyreek Hill? No. Doesn't matter what he hasn't done. He's always capable. 150-yard game, no matter who the quarterback is. $10 hauler. I'm 2-4 and just hit a trade. I traded Jacobson, Gibbs, and JMO for Kyren and MHJ. I could get behind either side of this, really. I love Gibbs and JMO and Jacobs. That's actually a phenomenal side of the trade. I really like it. Gibbs and Kyren are both bye-week free. MHJ, I still love and believe in. It's just he's out for probably a week. And who knows, maybe with the neighbor situation, who knows what's happening with these guys. I think there's something fishy going on with these concussions. Like, what in the hell's going on? Who made the helmets this year? Are we going to find out there's some weird thing going on? Because why is everybody in a fencing position? And why is everybody missing 2 and 3 games? It's not some random occurrence. This is weird. At the end of the day, I think it's even. I don't even think it's a good trade because you both got amazing talent. But I don't think either one of you, got one over on the other person. I think it's a very even trade. Would I trade Cook and MHJ for Lamb? Yes. I'd try that. Would I trade Cook and DK for Lamb? I probably would try that. Would I go get Achane? Would I go get Gibbs? I'd rather get Gibbs. Give me DK and Cook for Gibbs. I mean, you got Kyren right now, so go see if you can get him back. I know it's not likely because you just made the trade. The other player would be Achane. The other player would be JT. You give up a little less for JT, obviously, because he's banged up. But I see people all the time go get back the player that they traded because they're tradeaholics. Yeah, how many people, raise your hand in the chat if you've ever been or you know somebody in your league or not in your league that has made a trade and immediately the two people trade back and one guy gives back the guy that he just got. It happens all the time. That guy's an impatient Ian. Trade for Nico. Absolutely. Hold Chase, Hill, Terry, Evans, Waddle. I'd trade Waddle for Nico. I would maybe trade like Evans for Nico, given that Evans is banged up. But I definitely trade for Nico. I love trading for Nico right now. Nico missing 3 more games minimum, but hopefully it's just the 3 games. But Nico can win leagues. Just traded Amon-Ra and Aaron Jones for CeeDee and Jacobs. I would rather have CeeDee Lamb. There's a case to be made and argued, though, on both sides. I mean, Amon-Ra is that good. Trade Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Chase Brown, and Mostert for Gibbs and Evans and Pickens. I'd take Gibbs and Evans in a heartbeat. If not any moves. Other moves, I maybe contemplate moving like... Chase Brown, Mostert for Gibbs, Evans, and Pickens. I'd trade like Pickens or Evans with maybe, Brooks to get some CeeDee Lamb monster in that category of player. JJ, obviously, but like Lamb chops is easy to get right now. Very easy to get, obviously. I've gone over that. Burrow, Henry, Mason, Higgins, Downs, McBride, Juju, Garendo, Puka, Brooks, Nico, 5-1. Do I make any moves or hold? I'd probably say with this team, I'd probably say you can't trade Nico, you can't trade Puka, you can maybe trade Brooks and let's call it like Higgins for like one player like Achane, Brooks for JT, Higgins and Brooks, Higgins and, I mean, you could trade. It's a good team. I'm just trying to get into a Cooper Kupp, a Deebo Samuel, obviously CeeDee Lamb, using Higgins and Brooks. You do that and you get like a player like that to go with the rest of that team without giving up the studs. I think you're probably, I would guess, one of the top 3 teams in the league without even looking at the rosters. But you think you are that one move away. Start 3, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, and Dell. Right now, this is the way you do it. You put Dell on the bench. You put Kupp on the bench, and you wait for word. If word comes out that overwhelmingly convinces you that you need to go and start Kupp, like he's not going to be limited, but if you're hesitant, you just leave him on the bench for a week. But I think I'd probably sit Garrett Wilson before I would sit Dell this week. But that's me. Garrett Wilson's going to be heavily impacted by Devontae Adams in my book. I still like him. I still start him, but you've got a plethora of wide receiver options. Do I give Dobbins and Vidal for BT and Rico? Absolutely. I can swap BT for Deontay. No, go get BT. Drop Coleman, sure. Go get BT. Look, BT was everybody's favorite top 10 wide receiver until he had one bad game last week, and reactive Rodgers everywhere are dropping him out of the top 12. Kupp, AJB for Chase, DJ Moore, Pickens. Give me, damn, that's close. Give me Kupp and AJB. Mainly because they both had the bye, bro. Give me Kupp and AJB. Even if Kupp didn't play this week, you take a little hit. Or Kupp for DK. I'd probably rather have Kupp with the bye week out of the way. It's a tough and close call, though. I've been offered A.J. Brown for Kyren Williams. Should I accept? Well, Kyren Williams is my 1 or 2 overall pick. And if he's 2, A.J. Brown's not 1. I love A.J. Brown, bro, but this isn't even close. My other running backs are Monty, Hubbard, Mason. No, I would not. I would give up Mason and Hubbard. I would give up Monty and Hubbard for Kyren. I would give up probably Mason and maybe Monty for Kyren, potentially. I'd give up Hubbard and Evans for Kyren. I would maybe give up Monty and... I'd definitely give up Monty and Deontay or Mason and Deontay for Kyren, but absolutely not giving up Kyren for A.J. Brown. I like A.J. Brown a lot. They both had their bye week. Trade my Devontae Smith, Jacobs, and Pitts for Laporta and Neighbors and $50 in Fab. Devontae Smith and Jacobs and Pitts for Laporta, Neighbors. I take Laporta, Neighbors, and the money. Easy smash. Chase Brown to get DJ Moore. I'd rather have Chase Brown probably. If you need if you want to hold an RB. If anybody needed a receiver and they traded Chase Brown for DJ Moore, I'd be fine with it, or vice versa. That's pretty even. That one's preference. My Jacobs, Bowers, and Dell for Gibbs, I would take Gibbs and run. And that's coming from a big Bowers and Dell guy. 100%, if no any suggestions. I like that. I like that move a lot. And that changes the dynamic of your team to the point where you can't really make any other moves, and you really shouldn't if you pull that off. If you don't pull that off, I like the idea of doing that for even Kyren, obviously. And I'm kind of interested in doing a lesser version for Achan. Do you have Achan? Just making sure. Man, your team's good, though. Tyreek Hill. I like getting Tyreek Hill in a way. Currently 2-4 and need to win now. Full PPR. Trade away Bijan for Hunt, Scary Terry. I think that's not bad. Look, this is going to sound crazy coming from a Bijan guy like me, right? But Hunt could put up numbers that rival Bijan, even if Bijan continues to do what he did in Week 6. And Scary Terry's pretty damn good. That's not a bad trade. Guys, can I get a vote on that? Are we saying Scary Terry and Hunt for Bijan? I know it's uncomfortable. I know we wouldn't have done it on draft day. It is what it is. I think it's a smart move. I don't think it's a crazy move at all. I think it's actually kind of wise in a way. 10-team PPR 5-1 record. Trade my JD5 and Chase and Jacobs for Higgins, Bijan, Gibbs. I'm going to say your QBs are Josh Allen. So you're getting rid of JD5. But, bro, Jamar Chase is not somebody that you just toss in. JD5 and Jamar Chase is such a value. Bijan, Higgins. I'm going to say I'm not against you doing this. I don't like you doing it this way. I feel like you have an advantage to really go, hey, let me give you JD5 and let's call it Higgins for... JD5 and let's say Jacobs for your, or let's see here, JD5 and, yeah, you need something else. You can't take, Higgins isn't good enough. JD5 and Jacobs for Gibbs, like, I'm not saying that's the best deal in the world, but like, you got to do something along those lines, man. You can't just give JD5 away. You're giving JD5 away for free in this trade. So absolutely no. Traded Kittle, MHJ for Achan, Tank Dell, and Mooney. Thoughts? I'd rather have Achan, Tank Dell. I like that. That's a good trade. I have Ingram on my bench, and I have Bijan, Achan, Mason, Chase Brown. Yeah. for running backs. I like that move at the end of the day. I like it. It's arguable, though. Like, it's not crazy on either side, but I definitely would do that. Smitty, brother, I'm 5-1. What moves? With this team, I'd probably say I like Brooks, and I like potentially, Kincaid doesn't have any trade value. Traded CeeDee already. Why'd you trade CeeDee? What'd you trade CeeDee for? I would probably say I love Saquon and Achane. I love Nico, and I don't think you can get rid of him. I would trade maybe Devontae Smith or Deontay Johnson with Brooks to get that one player, whether it's a Gibbs or even a Tyreek Hill and something potentially. Obviously, I would want Lamb, but you just said you already traded him away. I think Hill is a very solid buy low wide receiver, and you can even get something back in many cases. Rate from 1 to 10, I'm 5-1. Hurts, Kyron, Gibbs, CeeDee, Debo, Dell, McBride, I'd say an 8.0 minimum. That's a really good team. Ideas, Bigsby and Dell for MHJ. Honestly, I don't know that I even want to trade Dell. I like Dell right now. I like MHJ a lot. I'd trade for MHJ. I'd give up like Slayton and Bigsby, or I'd give up even potentially a player like, Tracy and Bigsby even. You got Kyron and Gibbs. They both have the bye week out of the way. You could cuff them and then just leave it at that and give up Tracy and Bigsby for MHJ. You could give up one of them for Nico. You could give up one of the RBs for, you got Puka. I was going to say Puka. Those are good. Those are good moves. Mike Evans injured is a thought too, giving up both those running backs. See who needs running backs too and see what wide receivers they have, and then go from there, because they might have a receiver you can give both those RBs for. JD5, Kyron, Monty, Mason, Sharps, Garendo, Ray, Amon-Ra, Kupp, Wicks, any moves. Tyreek owner wants Amon-Ra, has Jacobs and McLaurin and K. Walker. I mean, Amon-Ra is better than Tyreek right now, so you can't do that. He'd have to give you more. Like, if he gave you Kenneth Walker and Reek for Amon-Ra and a player, I would do it. But, like, what player? You can't even throw Monty in like that. Mason, I'd be tempted to turn Mason into Gibbs. I'd be tempted to turn with your running backs with Kyron and Monty, and still having, potentially a player like, who was your other running back? Amon-Ra, Kupp is good. I like your team. I'm almost going to say don't make any moves. You've got Amon-Ra off the bye, Kupp off the bye, Kyron off the bye, Monty off the bye. Unless you trade Mason for like CeeDee, or Mason for Tyreek Hill and something, or even Tyreek Hill straight up, who's off the bye as well. I think that's the only thing I'd even consider doing. Your team looks really solid, bro. Like, extremely solid. Vladimir, appreciate your super chat. It's blank, but I think you dropped another one down below. You said talk about Estime versus running backs like Bucky, Tracy, Stash. Estime, I mean, long term there's some upside maybe, but he's not, somebody that's in the picture obviously now. But I think Bucky and Tracy are solid, not only solid stashes, but they give you value. Now Tracy especially. Tracy might be the Chuba Hubbard of the moment right now, and I don't know that he's going to lose, a ton of carries. Bucky's in a three-headed monster now, unfortunately. So I think Tracy by a country mile over the other two. It's just, it is what it is. Still can't believe I got Kupp off the waiver wire. I still can't believe it. It's wild, bro. Bijan and AJB for my Achane, Neighbors, and Downs. I'd take Achane and Neighbors and run. That's a fantastic trade. Fantastic. Would you do BT and James Cook for Kenneth Walker and Olave? I would probably do Kenneth Walker and Olave, especially with Shaheed maybe being out for the year. We'll find out more on that, so hang tight on Shaheed's health. Got offered a Dunze for my Chase Brown. I'd rather have Chase Brown. If it's Dynasty, maybe, but if it's redraft, no, hell no. Achane doing yoga all week, eating. Achane is eating spinach. He's not doing any vegan or yoga stuff. He's spinach and lifting tires in the garage, bro, in the junkyard. My London for MHJ and Mason. I would rather have MHJ and Mason for sure. JMO or Higgins, I'd probably rather have JMO, but it's darn close, dead even practically. Just traded Kareem Hunt for Achane. I definitely, Smitty, approved that. There's an argument on both sides though. Like, that's how good Hunt is right now. So, but I would definitely have done that. Traded Mahomes, Drake, London, Dell for Dak and Lamb. I would say like this is pretty pretty tough, I would probably lean toward the Dak and Lamb side. And I definitely believe Dak has the ability to still do something, and people are crazy about doubting him entirely. Traded Puka for Jacobs and JSN. I would probably rather have Puka, personally, if you could wait. If you couldn't wait, I understand it. And it makes sense. Would you like, who do you like this week, Debo or BA? Debo. Always going to be Debo. I mean, they will have moments where they rotate a little bit, but always Debo, my guy. Always. Mixon for MHJ. Mixon for MHJ or Adams. I'd rather have Mixon than both of them because of the level of play he's cranking out, and you could probably get a better receiver that's not banged up like MHJ, who I like, but I just think you could get more. I think you could get Tyreek Hill bye week out of the way. But would I take MHJ if you need a receiver? I probably would. Adams is nice, though. Adams is probably safer if you needed to do a move now and not wait on MHJ. Traded for my Bucky for Achane, Reed, and Gibbs. Traded my Bucky Irving for Achane? No way you did that. Reed for Gibbs? Come on. Absolutely no way those are real. Of course you go get Gibbs for Reed, bro. And of course you trade. That's unbelievable. I don't believe that. I don't buy that for a second. If you did that, phenomenal job. 3-3 gave Debo Bigsby for Collins, Pollard. Gave Debo Bigsby for Collins and Pollard. I would say that's pretty even. I'd rather have Debo Bigsby because Bigsby's doing work now. Debo's doing work now. Collins is out 3 games. But like if you could wait, and 3-3, I don't think you can. So I'm going to go ahead and say I would rather have the Debo side. So you went the other way, which is okay. It's still good. I hesitated on it, so it's clearly a close call. It's not a horrible move whatsoever. 1 QB Dynasty, sell Garrett Wilson for an early 25 first rounder. I would only do that if you knew it was top like 3, bro. No. Do we drop Shaheed? You got to wait on the news. Start Rattler or Rodgers? Rodgers. Especially with Adams back in town, broski. Let's see. You're trying to move Chase Brown for wide receiver. Thoughts on Deontay? It's an even-ish trade. I'd rather have Hill and give up a little more. I'd rather have Dell or Worthy, if you're wanting my opinion. Should I trade Bigsby for Hawkinson? I'm okay with that if you need a tight end, but I don't know how he's going to shape up right away, bro. It's tough to say. I mean, he's coming off an ACL tear, and he's not fully ready. They say he looks pretty good, though. So I'm okay with that either way, either side. Receiver, I like it. Running or tight end, I like it, whichever side you need. Drop Chandler to pick up Quorum to stack behind Kyron. There's a chance that Chandler plays this week, so maybe overcome, drop your kicker, and hold both of them and then make the decision last second. I'd rather cuff Quorum to Kyron at the end of the day, but this week Chandler could start, and then you have some trade value maybe. Hi, my name is Nate, and I'm a tradeaholic. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you. Nate, there's a lot of other people like you in this chat, so you're fine. You're in good company. Hunt, Andrews, and Chiefs for Bucks, Najee, and Hawkinson. Give me Hunt. Give me the best player in the deal. Best player in the deal. Dylan, would you rather trade Evans or Terry for Nico? I would rather trade probably Evans for Nico, given Evans is banged up. Trade Derrick Henry for Debo and Bijan. I would rather have... Damn, that's close. I'd probably rather have... It depends on my team. I'd rather have Henry if I've got enough depth that my receivers are still great. But if, like, Debo replaces, like, a garbage player and then you throw Bijan in, I mean, I think it's pretty even. It depends on if you have depth or not.
Motion detected at the front door.
Give London, Najee, and Tank for Gibbs and Evans. I take Gibbs and Evans and I run. Is Cooper and Kittle for Hill too much? No, I think it's a lot, but I think it depends on your depth. But I would do it if I had a lot of depth, sure. Traded Tyreek Hill and Mason for Jacobs and Garrett Wilson. I'd rather have Tyreek Hill and Mason by a country mile. Bernie, I wish you would have asked me on that one. Before you made that trade. Trade Ferguson and Tank for Bowers or Kittle. I would trade either one for either one. Those are great tight ends. I'd probably rather trade... I mean, if you have Ferguson, you want to trade Ferguson, right? Because why trade Tank and then have 2 tight ends? So trade Ferguson for Bowers or trade Ferguson for Kittle. But I think Ferguson's right below those guys, so he's not that far off. All right, we got a couple $20 haulers here. Appreciate everybody dropping $20 haulers. EA Goats with a $20 hauler. We got Antonio with the $20 hauler. Then I go back to answering order in which they were received. Antonio dropping that 20 wad. We've got David dropping a $20 hauler right here. David, appreciate you. We've got Tater dropping a $20 hauler. Appreciate you. Tater to the moon. Appreciate you. And Timothy said Metcalf or H-Chan. I would take... I'd take either one depending on your need. I mean, I'd rather have H-Chan in a vacuum, but if I had that other side and I needed that position, I'd do it. PPR, Kyler, Bijan, Jacobs, MHJ, BT, Waddle, Ladd, Kraft, must win now. Want to trade away Bijan, MHJ. How aggressive would you be to package to get some studs, slight upgrades? I've asked the Bijan for Hunt and Terry question. I'd probably say like aggressive. I mean, go trade Jacobs and Waddle for Tyreek Hill. Go trade Bijan and Waddle for Lamb or Chase or JJ or a player like that. Trade Bijan and Waddle for Kyron, for Gibbs. I'd do all of those moves, and I'd get aggressive, yes. And Waddle and a player for JT, or Jacobs and Ladd for JT. Jacobs and Waddle for JT and a player. I think I'd want somebody in addition to that. Antonio says 12-man league. Thank you for the $20 hauler. One last 2 years with your help. Thank you. Try to three-peat. What moves do I make? You've got Hurts. You've got Jacobs. You got Swift. You got Chase Brown, Madison, London, Lamb, Neighbors, Leggett, 3-3. I would sell high on Swift. I know he's been doing it, but I still sell high. If you sell high, you're not going to be mad. He's going to continue to do it, and you'll end up washing on the trade. But Swift and let's call it Swift and maybe, what do you do? I almost want to say don't touch your receivers. I mean, if you could do Swift in London for Hill and a player, I would consider, depending on what that player is. But that would be a crafty 2 for 2. But Swift and maybe Jacobs for like JT or higher. Gibbs, Kyron, H-Chan. Swift and Jacobs might be tough to get Kyron, but it might not be that hard to get a potential H-Chan or Gibbs. But JT's crafty, especially if like JT being injured, you might get JT and somebody for Jacobs and Swift, or Chase Brown and Swift. Hard to trade 2 RBs for 1 running back sometimes, but it depends on if the person needs somebody. And you could use London if they have an equivalent player that you like just a little bit better. Like let's say they had Tyreek Hill. Now you can do a Swift downgrade into a running back you quietly like just as much. Like let's say Kareem Hunt or something. And you could get Tyreek Hill and London swap and somehow get out of that. Or Jacobs would be better. Jacobs for Hunt. So you're upgrading your RB, and then you're upgrading their wide receiver from Hill to London, but quietly you like Hill just as much. So Hill and Hunt, I'm just giving you an example. Hill and Hunt for London and Jacobs. You add Swift in. Swift's earned enough value that you could get a running back probably well above Hunt, or a wide receiver well above Hill if you're going to go that route. But I would try a bunch of 2 for 2s. Don't just do 2 for 1s. Try 2 for 2s. My wide receivers are CeeDee, Kupp, Nico, MHJ, BT. Running backs are Kyron, Mason, Chase Brown, Chubb, Jacobs, Sharps. Looking to upgrade running back 2, maybe MHJ plus Mason. So MHJ plus Mason, you can only, that's a lot of value. You can only ask for a Kyron, a Gibbs, and maybe an H-Chan and something. A Barkley, Breece Hall. Like, you need to get one of those players. MHJ and Mason's a boatload. So if you're going to do that, do it for that type of player. Otherwise, you're going after you already got CeeDee Lamb, which is awesome. You got Kupp, you got Nico. I would trade BT and Mason for something similar. I would trade BT and Mason for Hill and something small. And you're 6-0, so don't overreact because you're doing the right things. Waiting a week is smarter than doing a trade because it's the best offer you got. You're 6-0. You're the man of the people, Smitty. I'm 5-1 because of your insights and availability. Thank you, pal. I've got Josh Allen, Bijan, Gibbs, JT, Neighbors, Dell, Kincaid, bench is Bigsby, or Amari, Swift. I'm trying to trade Amari and Swift together, or Bigsby, Amari, Swift, or Tracy, Amari, Swift, like a combo of those, as many as need be, to potentially upgrade Bijan into a Kyren, into a Breece Hall. If you can't upgrade Bijan, I'm trying to upgrade, even though I love him, I'm trying to upgrade Dell into a Lamb or a Tyreek Hill using Swift, Tracy, Pittman, or Amari. So go after Hill, go after Breece, go after those guys, or whatever I said. I just closed out your message. Did you have Breece Hall? I forget. I know you probably tried to get Breece Hall. You love Breece Hall. Yeah, you have Gibbs and Bijan. I'm just trying to get Bijan turned into one of those RBs. That's my focal point if I'm you. Or Hill. Or go get Hill. You skip my super chat. Probably not, Connor. Probably not. I almost guarantee you're still in line, Connor. I'm trying to answer them as fast as I can. Okay, let's see here. You're probably coming up here soon. Connor, you're about 10 away. Francisco, appreciate you. Francisco to the moon. PPR, QB, Jackson, Tua, Gibbs, Bijan, or no. Gibbs and Johnson. Is he trying to say? I'm just trying to think if he said Bijan. I wonder if he's saying Bijan here. Benson, Quorum, Flowers, Worthy Downs. Thinking of upgrading wide receiver. I'd be very tempted to trade. I'd be very tempted to trade Zay Flowers right now. Francisco, you here? I just want to know who B Johnson is, Francisco. I just want to make sure that's not Bijan Robinson. I've seen that before, so I wonder if that's what you're trying to type in your brain. Your brain farted. Okay. Bijan Robinson, not B Johnson. Trade Bijan and Flowers for Breece Hall, H-N and something, JT and something. There's not much else to do, bro. There really isn't. And I like your... you know what? Maybe you just go after... Damn it. What do you do at wide receiver, though? Zay Flowers, if you trade Zay Flowers away. I'm sorry. Hold on. Zay Flowers. What happened to your receivers? I don't know what you know what you might have to do? You can't trade Gibbs because I don't think you can get enough for him. Bijan probably can't get enough for him either. Part of me is wondering, I don't know if you got hit with some sort of injury you're not listing, but part of me thinks you got to trade Lamar Jackson, and I don't know, maybe you go to somebody that's got a Kyler that's they're questioning, and you're able to upgrade either Zay Flowers or get a receiver. I think that's your only move, bro. You can't win unless you make a move like that. I'm sorry to tell you, I think you got to make a move. Lamar's pretty solid to trade. I think if you went to the Kyler owner, he's freaking out. You went to a Dak owner, I know that's scary, but you go to the Dak owner, maybe you're turning Flowers into Lamb. Got offered Mahomes, Braylon for my Dak and Ray Davis. I'd take Mahomes and run. Also offered Achane, Watson for my B-Rob and McLaurin. That one's closer, but I'd rather have Achane personally, but it is close. I mean, McLaurin's playing that good. James, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. All right, let me see if there's any other $20 haulers that get immediate attention. Okay, hang tight. We're combing through these, and I know who was it that said that I missed their super chat? It was Connor, right? Connor, I want to pull yours up since you kind of supersized it. Hurts, Burrow, Bowers, AJB, Neighbors, Reed, Kyren, K9, Connor, Ayuk. 12-man league. Should I trade Burrow and Reed for Lamb? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. 100%. The easiest question I've had all day. Like, why would you not? You know, would I even throw in a little more and overpay to get it done? Probably. I don't know what I'd throw in, but like, it wouldn't be Reed or K9 or anything, but like, depends if they threw something else in. Would I even consider, be like, I need this trade. Let me throw Connor into the mix too, or something like that. It's certainly something I'd think about. Alec, appreciate your $10 hauler. 2 and 4. So I went out and made a trade, sent my Jacobs and Pickens for Tyreek Hill. Love it. And Bucky, I don't even need Bucky in that. That's a great job. Fantastic trade. Kraft, Chase Brown, unbelievable. Puts you in a position to now win, Alec. That's a phenomenal move. Everybody take notes on what Alec just did. That's how you go get a player on the low that shouldn't be had on the low. 10-man league, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 2 flex, 0.5. Stroud, Darnold, Nico, Amon-Ra, Kyron, B-Rob, Bowers, McBride, DJ Moore, Swift. Trade my Zay Flowers and Addison for JJ. Of course you do that. You do. If I have to give up a Deontay for free, I do that. I'd give up Zay Flowers and Swift for JJ. You know, so I definitely do this trade. Any other moves? I would just say the other moves are if they say no or it goes awry, you throw in DJ Moore for free. You throw in Deontay for free. You swap out Jordan Addison, and you still give up Zay Flowers for JJ. Swift and Zay for JJ. That's my advice. I like that idea. If not, do the same thing for Lamb. Or Chase, obviously. 2 and 4 with Lamb, Nico, Cooper, Deontay, Jacobs, Achane, Monty, Hunt, Bucky, Braylon. Offer JT and Waddle for Monty and Hunt. JT and Waddle for Monty and Hunt. I'd rather have probably Monty and Hunt right now, but I'm telling you that this is going to become even Steven once JT's back and could even sway in that direction. But availability is the best ability, and Monty's there, Hunt is there, Monty's got the bye week out of the way. JT, who knows? Jacobs, Hunt already rejected. It's a tough call though. Like again, later on you could regret it to a degree, or at least it's even to a degree. Who could I trade CeeDee for CeeDee? I have Achane, Monty, Diggs, Godwin. I'd trade Godwin straight up for a CeeDee Lamb, and a lot of people wouldn't, bro. Would I rather not do that? Sure, but I mean, I don't know that I want you trading Monty or Achane. And honestly, there's nothing else you can do. So whether it's Godwin, and even if I had to throw in a Pittman or a JSN or a Juju or an Addison, I would do that. I would throw them in. I don't think you could trade. You could trade Monty, but then what do you do at RB? So I think Godwin's the only avenue for you to even do it. But again, those side pieces I'd throw in just to get it done, even though some would say you need to get something back. I'd do it. Got Lamb. Traded Higgins, Terry, and Hunt for Lamb. I like that. Got Neighbors, MHJ, Bijan. Okay, dumping depth for upside on Lamb. Absolutely. Glad with Pitt. Jets fan, no Fields. Okay, gotcha, Jake. Yeah, fantastic move. Guys, take notes. Jake did it. He did it live. I got some bad allergies. There's something going on. My nose is itching. My face is itching. I'm constantly having to itch my face. I got an allergy. I don't know what in the hell's going on. Arizona's getting to me, and it never used to. I've lived here my whole life, but I'm just getting massive allergies. It's breaking out. Got freaking noses. Feels like there's a fuzzball on my nose. I got offered Hurts and Juju for my Jacobs and Garrett Wilson. 5-1. Hurts and Juju. Kyler, this is tough because you've got Kyler. I know you think he's trash, but you're giving up lineup pieces and just putting Kyler on the bench, and then you got Hurts is great, but let's look at your depth here. I think you got the depth to kind of do it, though. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. And it's not like Juju can't somewhat replicate Garrett's production to go ahead and make this move. I'm okay with it, bro. Your lineup does look better, even though you're getting rid of kind of a lot. It's a lot to give up. Smitty got this feeling my team ain't going to cut it and need help. First step is admitting it. What should I do? Brock, Purdy, Pollard, Bijan, AJB, JMO, Mark Andrews, Chase Brown, Dak, JT, Wandell, Waddle, Ferguson, Nico. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. I'd probably say, damn, bro, this is tough. This is tough because, like, what do you do? Do you give up JT injured? You can't. Do you trade Waddle on the cheap? You can't. Do you trade Nico injured? You probably can't. Bijan on the low, you can't. Brock Purdy, no one's going to buy him, really. JMO, I don't think people respect you. This is a tough team. I think it's capable of doing well, though. I think you wait a week, maybe. AJB for Tyreek Hill and a Pollard upgrade. Can you try that? Go to the AJB owner. Go to the DK owner. AJB and DK are kind of undervalued. Or I'm sorry, DK and Hill are undervalued wide receiver ones. And AJB with the bye week out of the way, it sucks getting rid of him. But Hill's had his bye too. But those guys you might be able to downgrade into Hill or DK and get a Pollard upgrade. That would be the first place I would start, Alex. That gives you 2 teams to go look at least. 12-team PPR, QB, Purdy, Fields, Gibbs, B-Rob, Bucky, Etienne, Brooks, Neighbors, Devontae Smith, Terry, Pickens, Olave. As much as I like Olave maybe bouncing back at some point, Brooks and Olave for, let's call it a Achane or a JT or something like that, or B-Rob and Olave for a JT and something, or an Achane and something, or Breece Hall. Brooks and Olave and Pickens for Breece Hall. Scary Terry and B-Rob for Breece Hall or Achane. I'd even do that. Brooks and B-Rob together, if that'll get it done. 100%. And then the 2 trade, I think you just said, sorry. Josh Allen and Tyreek owners are both 1 and 5. Which of these 2 should I trade for? So Tyreek, I answered that. Josh Allen would be good to go get though. Purdy and that's a good idea. Purdy and I'd even give up like Olave or Scary Terry to get that Josh Allen upgrade, bro. Appreciate the super chat. 2 $20 haulers, 1 from Chris, 1 from Sean. Appreciate both of you dropping it like it's hot in the live chat. Boom and boom. Appreciate you. You get immediate attention. I wanted to get Frankie's out of the way. Frankie did say just traded Monty for Achane. You think that was a good move? I think it could go either way. I think Monty was the safer call. I think a lot of people would agree with that, but Achane's got higher upside, just more risk. So I don't know. Monty was safer, but I don't mind it. I like both sides. Trade away Bijan for Achane and Bigsby. I'd rather have Achane personally, and that bye week out of the way is huge. And then working on a trade away Debo and DK and Keenan Allen for Lamb and Olave. I'd rather have. It's pretty close, honestly. Debo DK is pretty solid. But I like Olave enough that I'm going to call that an even Steven trade. I'd maybe lean toward the Debo DK side by a hair. But I think I could be swayed very easily, though. And then traded Kraft, Vidal, and Wright for Davis and Worthy. I lean toward Worthy because I love the Worthy side of that. These $20 haulers. Team goes Josh Allen, Amon-Ra, Laporta. Thanks for the $20 hauler, Chris. Laporta, Cole Kmet, Jamison Williams, Jordan Addison, Wandell, Achane, Tank Bigsby, Braylon Allen, Ty Johnson. Trade anyone or hold. I start all my Lions together. Josh Allen and Amon-Ra and Laporta are must-starts no matter what, yes. And you unfortunately have to start J-Mo too, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. I mean, he's fantastic. Achane, Tank Bigsby. I like the team a lot. I don't know that there's much to move. With Amon-Ra, with Laporta, with J-Mo bye week free and out of the way, it's hard to really move those guys, and Achane as well. To be honest with you, there's not a lot to move. I don't think you can do anything unless, let's say, Amon-Ra gains tremendous value, and you can divide him into like Tyreek Hill and something. You could attempt that now. I would attempt that. And Hill's had his bye. So try St. Brown for Hill and a player. And that might be a 2 for 2. You might want to try and upgrade Tank Bigsby or even upgrade Achane into Hall or upgrade Achane into Gibbs. But I would try and upgrade Tank Bigsby into like a JT or some struggling player that's been injured or whatever by using the downgrade into DK or into Tyreek Hill. Go to those 2 owners specifically. Sean with a super chat. Smitty, 12 team. Half PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Mahomes, Tua, Hall, Gibbs, Achane, monster running back crew. Brooks, expendable. Garrett Wilson and Brooks for 1 upgrade. DK, keep Dell. They're on the low value-wise. I'd trade Pitts if need be and roll with Likely, honestly. Do I trade to improve my wide receiver room? Yes. I would trade Garrett Wilson for Tyreek Hill. Who do you give up? Brooks. Who do you give up? Pitts. Same thing, maybe going and getting, obviously if I could give up a bigger amount to get lamb chops, I would do that. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. I accidentally skipped my second super chat. See the last 2. I don't know that I skipped it yet, broski. I think see the last 2. I'll go look at it. Maybe I did, but I think maybe I haven't got to it yet. Let's see here. I mean, I could have. Let's see here. Now JD5, Kyron, Pollard, gave Debo, Bigsby for Collins and Pollard, and then you gave me the update of your team. Accidentally skipped my second super chat. No, I didn't. I read it. I said, when I pulled this on, I said, now your team is Kyron, Pollard, Malik, Collins. I like it. I acknowledge it. Was there a question in here somewhere that I missed? I don't see one. Other than the first one, which is Debo, Bigsby for Pollard and Collins. I think it's pretty. What I said was, if you missed it, you might have taken a potty break, little Nicky. But I said that probably wouldn't do it because Bigsby's doing it now and Debo's obviously out there and Collins isn't. And given that you are 3-3, you kind of need the wins. And then when I pulled up this one, I said, no, looks like you already did it. But that's okay because I said that I think it's pretty even and I wavered anyway. So I'm okay with it. Little Nicky, you're wasting time. I did get to it. To be fair, I appreciate your super chat. You are a monster. And I love you, pal. So it's okay. But about 80%, 90% of the time, the Smitty you missed my super chat is a false alarm. And a little bit of a waste of time. Just so you guys know, hang tight. I'll get to your super chat. I know it seems like a long wait. Okay, here we go. Austin, 10-team PPR. Have a stacked team from trades. Your help. Thank you. Breece, Jacobs, JJ, London, Tyreek, McBride. But QB Mahomes, do I trade Bucky for Kyler? I would do that anyway, just because it gives you trade power and a nice rotation at quarterback if matchups are to play into it. So I'd do it no matter what. And then you go to the QB needy team, 10-man league, you might not have any, but maybe injuries happen or whatever. And you try and upgrade Jacobs into JT, giving up Kyler. You try and upgrade maybe London into Lamb or whatever, or Jacobs into, like I said, JT or somebody, Achane, Jacobs into Achane. I take that in a heartbeat. Kyler. I mean, you might even be able to give it like Kyler and McBride to get. I like McBride. I'm just saying if you feel like you like Kelsey or Laporta more or something like that, you could always do that. But I think McBride's top 3 potentially. But I start Mahomes, I do, but I definitely take that trade and it gives you nice trade bait, bro. Gives you some nice trade bait. I appreciate you, little Nicky. I'm just messing with you. I appreciate you. Have a lot of value at wide receiver. I have Flowers, Reed, Adams, Kupp, McLaurin, Worthy, Juju. My running backs are Henry, Barkley, Brown, and Ford. Do I upgrade? I probably use Flowers. I mean, look, Henry and Barkley, you can't upgrade those. Like, those are fine. Adams, Kupp, Flowers, Reed. I'm probably trying to get Lamb. I'm trying to trade Adams and Flowers for Lamb. McLaurin and Flowers for Lamb. For Jamar Chase, for JJ, whatever. That's what I'm doing. I leave those RBs alone and not even potentially. I'd probably keep Chase Brown for depth, but yeah, that's what I'm upgrading. Nice team. All right. We got this one. We've got Boone with the next one. I'm going to try and put you guys on screen so you know that you're coming up. Amy with the $4.99 is next after that. Then we've got Ethan. Ethan, appreciate you. Ethan with a super chat. Then I got Gage, then Dylan, then Adam, then Kavanaugh, Cole, Jeff, Robert, Jordan, Thomas, Armando, Murph, Brett, not Kwani, Ryan. Brady dropped a $20 hauler, so Brady gets immediate attention, and Steve, in that order. Okay, so hang tight. This one from Brady. Brady, would you trader? Stop calling me a traitor, Brady. Would you trader Scary Terry Door? Are we talking French here? Smitty, you traitor. Scary Terry Door Debo. I would take Debo personally, but they're very, very close. Terry is the guy. The Niners have tons of mouths to feed. Team is Burrow Hill. They have tons of mouths to feed, but he's the focal point of their offense. Got Mason, Algier, Worthy. I'd rather have Debo personally, but it's super close. Love Scary Terry. He's an absolute monster. But it's close. I'd say trust your gut. Your gut says take Scary Terry, so I'm going to Smitty approve your trade based on your gut because I think it's that close. I'm going to let you decide. But I would take Debo by a hair. 0.5 PPR, Hurts, Gibbs, Mason, Dobbins, Chubb, Tracy, AJB, Diggs, Reed, Amari. Trade Gibbs for CMC. Hell no. Boone. What are you, a Niner fan? What do you mean? CMC might not ever return to form. Hell to the no. Gibbs is a top. Didn't you see my video? Didn't you see my video, my broski? You see CMC on the buy low list? Absolutely not. Negative. Rejection. Smitty disapproved, but I approve you. I just don't approve the trade. Trade question, 12-man full PPR. Trade Kupp and Reed and Madison for Hall. Kupp, Reed, and Madison. That's a lot. Kupp and Reed's a lot for Hall. Oh, Chase Brown and Bucky. I'd take Hall, Chase Brown, and Bucky. Then I'd try and turn Chase Brown into something into Nico, or Chase Brown into Puka, or Chase Brown into something into DK, or Chase Brown into Worthy or Dell. And then I really love the end result. I have Achane, Monty, McLaurin, Hill, and Downs. Okay. Kupp and Reed. I would take Hall and Chase Brown. Just flip Chase Brown if you can to help alleviate what you lost, potentially, unless you don't feel like you need to. But 10-man PPR QB Allen, Kyron, not Karen. His name's Kyron. Bijan, Mason, CMC. Neighbors, Hill, Debo. This is a great team. Bowers, any moves? No. Unless you're going to trade Bijan and let's call it. I don't even know that I'd trade Bijan and like Debo for like one player. If it was maybe Barkley, I'd consider it, or Barkley and something. But past that, you probably hold. That's a lot of value. CMC and Mason for. I'd be very tempted to go after an Achane or I'd even consider a JT and a something, but you got to be careful. Trading away JT's Mason and CMC is tough. You got to get the right deal, and you kind of have some of the guys that attack like Hill and Lamb or whatever. So I'd almost say stand down versus really anything, but poke around at that idea, but just more so stand down. PPR 3 and 2, Stroud, Kyron, Mason, Chase Brown, Sharbs, Moss, Dell, Reed, Downs, Kupp, Lamb, JSN, Collins, Kraft, stand down. Offered my JSN and Mason for London. I'm fine with that. That's pretty even. Mason's going to be maybe hampered this week. I think it's a good move. I think Tyreek Hill would also be fantastic. I think going after you already have Cooper Kupp. Tyreek Hill would be fantastic. I think Mason and even like Mason and I'm trying to think like Mason and Dell for go after Lamb or go after Hill. You got Lamb already. Go after Hill, Tyreek Hill. I think you could get that done. I do the London deal, but I also go after Tyreek Hill. So smash. We got a $50 hauler from Curtis. Curtis with a $50 wad.
To Mars.
Unbelievable, Curtis. Team is Lamb, Nico, Neighbors, Worthy, Adunze, Leggett, Mason, Garendo, Chase Brown, Ray Davis, Tracy, Benson, Mark Andrews, Jaden Daniels. Okay, so you have a situation on your hands where you have Lamb, Nico, Neighbors, Fantastic, Worthy. Okay. Adunzinzi, Mason. I'm probably trying to upgrade your RB room. So Mason and maybe Chase Brown. Andrews, if someone's willing to pay because he scored. Jaden Daniels downgrading the Mahomes to upgrade Mason. I would look to downgrade. Look, you could stand down. Your team is good. The only problem is your receivers are lit, and JD5 is lit. I would explore going and getting Mahomes and upgrading my Jordan Mason, or upgrading my Chase Brown and keeping Jordan Mason. I could go that route too. But unfortunately, the player I would want to shop in this situation would be that, because I still think you can get some amazing quarterbacks that are undervalued. Can we hold until Nico is back? You could, but I would just be tempted to go get Mahomes. I love Mahomes, so I'd go get Mahomes on the low. I'd also be tempted to buy Kyler on the low if it gave you a significant Mason or Chase Brown upgrade. Past that, do not make a bad deal. Only make a significant smashing upgrade at RB or smashing addition at RB. Like you're getting Gibbs or you're getting Mahomes and Gibbs for Mason and JD5. Like that kind of move. Worded my last question wrong. Allen, Hall, Achane, Chase Brown, Brooks. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Kupp, Devontae Smith, Kirk, McBride. Any moves? Also got offered Amon-Ra, Chase Brown, and Mostert for Gibbs and Evans. I would rather have I'd rather have Gibbs and Evans. I'm going to, Evans is not someone that I'm necessarily extremely worried about, and he's still got top 10 wide receiver value easily. And if you make this trade and you've got Gibbs, you've got Gibbs, Hall, and Achane. You've got Mike Evans, Kupp, and Devontae Smith. You're set. I'd probably just hold on that if you pull that off. You got Josh Allen at QB. The only thing I'd even consider would be like trying to get rid of Evans at that point for Tyreek Hill. I just think Tyreek Hill is a fantastic go-get player right now. Debo and Achane or McLaurin and Hall. McLaurin and Hall probably. Just because of the volatility around Achane's situation. But very, very close. Smitty, you didn't finish my $20 super chat question. Brady, I'll go look at it. Was this the one in French? Smitty! Brady, hold on, Brady. Some of these are loaded with information. It's hard to see the fifth question in it. Would you trade... Well, yeah, this is the French one. Would you trade or Scary Terry, Door, Debo? Terry is the guy. 49ers have tons of mouths to feed. Team would be Burrow, Hill, Terry, Mostert. Other moves you would make. I answered this. I went through the whole thing. So you just want to know if I come up, I guess, with something else. I would say Aaron Jones, now that he's practicing, maybe someone's looking at him, but right now you're probably waiting. Garrett Wilson and Bijan for Barkley or Kyren. Mason and Garrett Wilson for Kyren and something for Barkley and something. I'd probably want to get something back. Like Mason shouldn't be discarded, but he also, you need to plan as if he's losing some of his work. Mason for JT and something would be interesting. Mason for Achane straight up, I would probably do. Sorry, Brady. I hope that helps. Brady, thank you for the $20 super chat. Brady's the man, the myth, the legend. Brady to the moon. Brady to Mars.
Too much.
Thank you, Brady. Hey, Smitty. Jacobs and Mason for Gibbs. I would take Gibbs. Too much? No. Let's go do it live. I like that, bro. I'm all about that. Pollard or Hunt for running back 2 this week. Let's go, Hunt. Anything can happen. Pollard's pretty decent right now, but I want Hunt. Hunt looks really good. Trade, I get Worthy, Dell, McBride, Thomas, and Walker. They get JJ, Pollard, Kraft. Dell, I get Worthy, Dell, McBride, Thomas, and Walker. Woo! Woo! Give me the Walker side, but that's sort of tough to break down, to be honest. Like, so many other things will factor into that, like what your team looks like, all that. But that's a tough one. All right, back to the top. Gage, 12 PPR, Baker, Bijan, Achane, Neighbors, AJ, Scary, Terry, Kincaid, Bench, DK, Bigsby, Bucky. Kind of stuck at what moves to make 4 and 2 right now. All right, well, you're doing well. So, sometimes no trade is the better move, but AJB, Scary, Terry, Kincaid. I like what you got here. DK, normally shouldn't be on your bench. So let's trade away Scary Terry or DK with Bigsby, who's starting right now, and try and upgrade into a slightly better player. Tyreek Hill does feel like somebody that could win you a league. CeeDee Lamb obviously is somebody I'm attacking. Bijan and Scary Terry to go get Kyren, to go get Gibbs and something even maybe. to get Barkley straight up, or Scary Terry or DK with Bijan to get that done. I'd also be very tempted to say, you know what, screw all that. Let's get rid of Scary Terry or DK to upgrade Baker into Josh Allen into Jalen Hurts. I know Baker's been doing it. I'm not saying Baker won't continue to play well, but would I rather have Hurts or Josh Allen? Absolutely. You know, keep in mind how good Carr looked too. You know, like things change. Baker's gonna play well. I'm not saying he's trash at all. I just don't think he's gonna be the number one quarterback. You know, trade Monty and Worthy for Bijan. I'd rather have Monty and Worthy. Have Gibbs, Hunt, Kupp, Devontae. Yeah, no, that's too much, Dylan. Monty's too steady. He's a steady Eddie, pal. He's a steady Eddie. 10-man PPR. Hill, Kupp, Bijan, JD5, Breece, Bowers. Should I flex Wilson or Higgins? I'd probably go Wilson for now. But it's really close, bro. And trading one of them away, let's say with a Bijan to get a Kyren Gibbs, makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense, bro. Took your advice and got Hill and Hall on the low. Well, absolutely did amazing with that. Breece Hall, love it, bro. Love it. Love it. Fantastic job. And it's funny, Adam, how many people like just would come at me saying you can't get Breece Hall on the low. You can't get Breece Hall. Like, I'm looking at so many people that successfully executed upon that. It's absolutely crazy. And people that just complain about it, they miss out on these trades. 5-1, 0.5. Got Purdy, Kyren, Cook, Jones, Garrett Wilson, Reed, Waddle, Shaheed, McConkey, Tracy. Any moves? Cook and Jones are shaky. Garrett Wilson's a little shaky now. Reed, I love. Waddle, shaky. Shaheed might be out for the year now. I think Tracy and Cook, or Garrett Wilson and Tracy to get like that slight wide receiver upgrade. Cook and Garrett Wilson for, I mean, this is risky to do, but for Lamb. Cook and Garrett Wilson for Lamb. Garrett Wilson and Waddle for Lamb. Gibbs using Cook and Garrett Wilson. That's risky at wide receiver, but you know, you're getting a bigger monster somewhere. Declan, I don't know. Or Declan. Was it Declan? Declan. Declan. I don't know. I think it was Declan. My screen's a little blurry sometimes. I drag a super chat on. It's hard to explain, but it sometimes will leave like 3 overlaying blurry versions of it. It doesn't show up for you guys, but on my screen it does it. Trade my Chubb for ETN. I would rather have Nick Chubb right now. Just right now, because ETN's hurt. Have Bigsby. Can you throw up the Week 7 waiver wire? I certainly can. There you go. Pause it. Do it. Do what you got to do. Drop it like it's hot. Definitely some, if anybody sees any changes that we need to make, let me know. Appreciate you, Cole. Cole's the man. The myth, the legend. This one here from Jeff. Jeff says 12-team league. Start with MHJ. Unlikely. Javonte on Thursday. Downs or Waddle. Javonte on Thursday. Downs or Waddle. I'd probably say, I mean, you gotta assume MHJ's out. Yes. Javonte, I don't know how much I fully trust him at all, bro. Downs or Waddle. I'm gonna go probably Downs for now. For now, like, Waddle's hard to sit. Super hard to sit though. Like, you know, but right now, I guess. 4-2 half PPR. Kyler, Breece, Mason, Wilson, Evans, Bowers, Mixon, Hunt, Worthy, Higgins, Chase Brown, Bigsby, Puka. Trade Wilson for Nico. I would try and get more because you're waiting 3 weeks, maybe more. It's a real tall order. You know, Wilson's still going to produce wide receiver 2 numbers at least. I would say, like, in certain situations, I have recommended this, and I don't mind it, but I try and get something back that you can supplement with. Now, your team's pretty good, but I don't know that it's capable of weathering completely. It's pretty good, though. Like, you know, like Evans, Worthy, and Higgins, if Evans wasn't kind of banged up, you know, and you have bye weeks coming and such, I'm very tempted to say yes, but I want something else in return, Robert, just because it leaves you thin. But I like the idea and the concept. Trade my Bijan for Amon-Ra. Take Amon-Ra, like I said at the beginning of the show. If you told me you could lock in Amon-Ra's value, but I might be leaving something on the table or not, he could underperform from Amon-Ra, I would lock it in on Amon-Ra's value if you gave me the chance to do that. I have Mondre, Algier, Sharps, Guerrero, Neighbors. You got a tough running back stable, though, if you do this trade. Like, you almost have to make another trade. Thoughts on the trade, or should I target? I don't know. Like, who are you going to start at running back? Like, you make this trade, like, who are you going to start? Chase Brown or is that Jamar Chase? Neighbors, Jamar Chase, Debo. I love that you have Jamar Chase, but you got no RBs, bro. You're going to probably have to make another trade, like Debo for a running back at some point, which I would be tempted to do, or Amon-Ra for a running back. You know what? I'd probably do it no matter what, because I could turn Amon-Ra into Gibbs, especially if you throw something back. So I'm going to say do it, smash it, jump blind into the fire, and just trade Amon-Ra for more than you'll trade Bijan. Trade full PPR, Superflex, AR5, Caleb Williams, wide receivers, JJ, Neighbors, Smith, Puka, nice job. Running backs, Breece, Chase Brown, ETN, Buck. Moves, probably not, bro. I'm going to say sit on this team. JJ will gain more value. Neighbors, you can't trade. Devontae Smith is undervalued. Puka's coming back. Breece Hall's a little undervalued. Chase Brown's not getting quite the value. ETN's crafty. I'm going to say there's not much I want to move on this, Thomas. If you have a specific offer, I'll let you know yes or no, but I don't think I'm trying to shop those guys because they all need to gain value. $10 hauler, 2 and 4, rate my team, 10 team, PPR, Daniels, Mason, Kyron, Hill, Debo, Laporta. Love the team. Should I stand down or make a move? I'll probably say just trying to get out of the Mason situation the best that I can, the safest way. Trying to get an Achane, try to get a Gibbs, give up a Thomas Jr. and Mason to get a Gibbs and try and get something else to obviously do that straight up for Kyron, the 2-for-1. Or if you were to go like JT and a player, JT and upgrade, let's say Cooper into something like massive. I would downgrade into JT using Mason and upgrade Cooper. Or just trade Cooper and Mason for Achane, or Cooper and Mason for Gibbs. That might work. I think Cooper's got some buzz right now. 3 and 3. Mahomes, Kyron, Gibbs, Bucky, Bigsby, Waddle, Dell, Hawkinson ideas. I'd probably say, you almost got to wait on the receiving room. You can't trade anybody there. The running back room, I'm going to say hold. I don't want you trading Kyron. He's bye-week free. Mahomes, bye-week free. Gibbs, bye-week free. Bigsby, maybe. Bigsby and Waddle for Hill. Bigsby and Waddle for Debo. Bigsby and Waddle for DK. JSN and Bigsby for, I don't know, Dell. Like something like that. Maybe throw Hawkinson in and get a little bit bigger receiver. Thank you, Murph. Appreciate you. Brett with the super chat. Appreciate you. Lamb, Godwin, Dell. God, I'm getting this massive allergies. I feel like I got a fuzzball in the front of my face. It's itching the hell out of me. Lamb, Godwin, Dell, Addison, Watson, Downs, Pickens need a running back help. Achane, Pacheco, Ray Davis. Who should I trade for a running back? I would probably say Godwin. I like Dell and Lamb a lot. I think Achane's fantastic, but yes, I would love to get Gibbs. I think Godwin could get you Gibbs. I think Godwin could get you Achane. Godwin could get you JT and somebody. Godwin could get you Kamara and maybe something, or maybe Kamara and something for Godwin and Pickens, or Godwin and Ladd McConkey, and you get some crafty upgrade. Maybe throw Pacheco somebody's way. Not Kwani with a super chat. What moves can I make? I'm 3 and 3. Superflex, love Goff, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, Braylon Tracy, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson. You're getting awful risky with these abbreviations. Hill, I like Hill. I would probably trade Garrett Wilson and Tracy for Garrett Wilson and Tracy for Hill. For oh, you got Hill. Damn it. Garrett Wilson and Tracy for Gibbs, for Achane, Bijan and Garrett Wilson for Kyron Williams, unless KW is Kyron. I think that's Kenneth Walker. That's what I'm saying. You get risky with abbreviations. Devontae Adams and I like Hill a lot. I love Nico. Yeah, I keep Laporta. I'm trading Garrett Wilson and Bijan for one bigger running back like Barkley or Kyron. I'm trading Garrett Wilson and Tracy, who's got some value, for just a slight, like a running back like JT and something. Kwani, that's a good team though. You don't really even need to make a move. It's a pretty good squad. We got a $20 holler by Tracy. Appreciate you. Hey Smitty, this team is 1-5. 12-team half PPR QBs: JD5, JJ, Devontae Smith, Dell, Gibbs, ETN, Bigsby, Sermon, Kincaid. Any ideas on trades? Man, this team's so tough to trade. I see this team, I think, once a week, right? It's so tough. I mean, Devontae Smith, you had the bye week. JJ, bye week. Gibbs, bye week. And those are all out of the way. And those are the only tradable pieces. And I don't want you to get rid of that. You can't afford to get rid of that bye week advantage going forward. If you trade for players that have a bye, you're getting double smashed. So your only move, unfortunately, and I like Dell, your only move, unfortunately, is to trade JD5 and downgrade into Mahomes, or downgrade into Kyler, or downgrade into a very risky Dak Prescott in order to upgrade something significantly, or get an actual extra player like Tyreek Hill or JT or something like that. JD5 can command that sometimes, and sometimes he can't. This is your only move. You can't get rid of JJ, Devontae Smith, Gibbs, Dell, these guys that have had their bye week already. That's your only saving grace to have a bunch of wins in a row going forward and getting your way out of this and getting into the playoffs. That's the only shot you have. So it has to come through JD5. Nico for Downs and Neighbors, 25 first rounders. I'm in win now mode. Nico for Downs, Neighbors. You're trading Nico and you get Neighbors and 25 first rounders. Bro, Neighbors is probably worth more than Nico, so the Neighbors side crushes. I mean, I love Nico Collins, my guy, but I mean, I don't know. This one's a blank one from Nelson. Nelson, appreciate you dropping the super chat for support, my guy. James, appreciate you. 3-3. Burrow, Jettas, Kupp, Higgins, Achane, Gibbs, Njoku, Braylon Allen, Garendo, Worthy, Brooks on IR. Thoughts, moves. I'd probably say like Brooks is still a very attractive trade piece. Don't trade Gibbs. I like Worthy. Don't trade him. You can't get enough for him anyway. Higgins and Brooks for one player, bro. And you're just going down the gauntlet of Gibbs, Lamb. Obviously, Lamb's going to be a tall order. Higgins and Brooks for probably, Achane, Gibbs, Tyreek Hill. Brooks for Nico. I know it doesn't help you now, but that could help close it out. It's a win a league move. Love Nico right now. Bro. That's a buy low. JD5, Hall, Bijan, Chase, Lamb, Godwin, Kincaid, Fairbairn, Hurts, Bucky, Mostert, Algier. Want to upgrade at tight end. Any suggestions? I would probably say the best tight end to go grab right now in a trade would be like Kraft or Likely if you want to go real cheap. If you want to get a big dog, I mean, I think Laporta is going to be a top 2 tight end the rest of the way. So if I'm trading, let's say, and Kincaid's good, just not playing good. Like we know he's good, but we don't know if it's going to change. So at the end of the day, I probably would say, it's a 1 QB. 10-man league is going to be hard to trade one of your QBs, but that's probably your best opportunity. You may have to wait a week, see if anybody needs a quarterback, but I like your team a lot, man. I'm not as worried about the tight end position as I am trying to maybe use your depth and your extra quarterback to upgrade Bijan into a Gibbs or a Kyron type of situation. I like that a little bit more, but I do think I would potentially go after Laporta using Kincaid and This isn't an easy trade, bro. I don't want you to get rid of Lamb, Chase, Hall. You know, Godwin, go to the Hill owner, go to the DK owner, and potentially look at maybe downgrading Godwin into Hill or DK or Hill or someone of that variety to get an extra tight end bump and trade Kincaid. That's the only thing I can come up with there, man. It's really hard to grab a tight end right now. People don't trade tight ends very easily. The landscape is weird. Laporta is very intriguing. Go for Laporta. Go after Kraft cheaply. But Godwin downgraded into Hill or DK or a receiver like that to get a tight end upgrade would suffice. I like Godwin a lot, but come on, guys. There's a world where Godwin doesn't continue his exact play. And if you could get into a Hill or somebody that seems to be a downgrade, but you actually like him, it's worth upgrading another spot and taking the gamble that Evans and Godwin continue to rotate. 0-6, 1 QB league. Daniels, Richardson, Achane, Bigsby, Reek, Kupp, Devontae Smith, Dell, BT, McBride, Davis, Braylon. Do you have hope? I'd have hope, but like, what are you going to trade? Achane on the cheap right now, Reek on the cheap, Kupp not even fully healthy, Devontae Smith, people don't respect him enough. They should. He's got the bye week out of the way. Dell, BT off the bad week. McBride's been underperforming. There's zero trade opportunity here unless someone's knocking on your door for a player. I'd probably say hold it and just try and get a couple wins here. Let's gain some value with a couple of these players, and then let's see if we can come up with a trade next week. I don't think it would be smart to move these players on the cheap right now, because that's what you'd be doing. You'd be selling them very low, and I don't think that's a wise move. Would you do Jacobs and Bowers for Ferguson and Gibbs? Absolutely, without a hesitation in my mind. Bijan Metcalf for St. Brown, Achane. I take St. Brown and Achane, and I don't want to say run, but I love that side a lot more. My Kupp and Achane for Jamar Chase. I'd rather have Kupp and Achane pretty easily. Alex, appreciate your super chat. Hey, Smitty, post trade, I just got an offer for AJB and Waddle for Achane and Devontae Smith. AJB, Waddle for Achane, Devontae Smith. Give me Achane and Devontae Smith. Love your channel, bro. Watch every day. Keep up. Thank you. Appreciate you, Alex. I would take the Achane side. Oscar, appreciate you. 3-3, half PPR. Kyler, Fields, Achane, Breece, Hunt, Ford, Braylon Allen, Correndo, Mostert, Devontae Smith, Debo, McLaurin, McBride. What would you offer to get Kupp? Marvin, Gibbs, DK. I would offer Hunt and Devontae Smith for Gibbs and something, but I want something else. McLaurin, same thing. McLaurin and Hunt for Gibbs and something. McLaurin for Kupp, if you feel that's even, Steven. I kind of feel like it is. Devontae Smith for Kupp is kind of even, Steven, if you want to go that route. MHJ, I don't think you'd have to get MHJ and somebody for McLaurin. You'd have to get somebody. You can't just do that straight up. Hunt for MHJ, I'm okay with that one too, but I'm also okay with Hunt. You know, that's even Steven trade. So if you needed like a running back, I could get rid of MHJ for Hunt. Those are the only thing. I don't think there's any steals capable of happening, given that I don't want you trading your big name dogs away. Got CeeDee, Lamb for Drake, London, and Chase Brown. I'd rather have CeeDee, Lamb. Got a free spot adding Tracy or Ray Davis. I'd probably add Tracy for the longer term of the season. Ray Davis for this week, depending on what you need. Maybe Ingram, since somehow he's on waivers. Yeah, Ingram might be the more valuable of the three, because of the climate of the tight end position, bro. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think those are all three very good spots. Make claims for all of them and just order them so you get one of them. Traded my Kyren Williams and Burrow away for Achane and Hurts and MHJ. Traded my Kyren Williams, Garrett Wilson, and Burrow for Achane, Hurts, and MHJ. I probably would rather have Kyren, Garrett Wilson. By a hair, Kyren, Garrett Wilson, and Burrow. By a hair. But Jake, that's a tough one. Jedi. Need a dynasty QB. AR5, Chase, London, Bijan, Gibbs, Laporta, Devontae Smith, Dell, Pickens, Bigsby. I mean, Mahomes is my favorite. Maybe Mahomes or Stroud. Love those two. They're two very good buy lows. What would you give up? That's so tough, bro. I mean, Bijan for Mahomes and something. Honestly, in Dynasty, I'd rather have Mahomes or Stroud than Devontae Smith. I give up Pickens and Bigsby. I give up even Dell. I give up Dell and Pickens, Dell and Bigsby for that QB. Bijan for the QB and something. And honestly, like, depending on what you could get back, and I think you could, London for Mahomes and something, London for Stroud and something. But it would depend on the something, bro, and I don't have those teams there. But that's kind of where my mind would go in terms of trying to make that happen. Traded Mike Kyron. I just did that one. Appreciate you. I could also add Juju or Watson over Downs and Waddle. Jeff, I don't know what this is even pertaining to anymore. You got to include it all in one question, or I have no ability to tie it back to the old question. But I would say that Juju and Watson over Downs and Waddle. I mean, if I'm ranking those, I would say I'd rather have Waddle, Downs, Juju, Watson in that order, if that helps. Vets to buy low, trying to sell Downs, Zay, and picks. Cooper Kupp if you need the now. Kelsey if you need the now. Derrick Henry in Dynasty is very cheap because he has like the 1 year left that he's doing right now. So if you need win now value, I think Debo's older. People discard Debo. Debo would probably be top of my list because I think he still has a couple years left. Lamar, DK, and Shakir for Lamb and Pitts. I'd take. You have Mahomes. I would take Lamb and Pitts. Yeah, that's good. Nice job. Nice job, broski. Tyler with the super chat. Brock, Dobbins, JT, Neighbors, IU, Kincaid, Bigsby. Bench is Worthy, Leggett, Javonte, Brooks, Lockett. Who to start? Assuming ETN is out. I don't know, bro, on this. We need so much more information. Like JT, we don't know if he's playing. Neighbors, we don't know if he's playing. Bigsby probably gets all the work. Brooks won't be. We don't have an idea yet, so we have to wait. Unfortunately, there's no way to set this lineup yet. Tyler, I'm sorry. I wish I could, but we're beholden to so much news that is not out yet. So let's swing back around once we have information that we can use. Trade with this same team. I have Pittman, T, Worthy. He has Reek, Debo, Deontay. Any trade ideas to go after? T. Higgins and let's call it Mason and CMC. T. Higgins, Mason, CMC for Reek. T. Higgins, Mason, CMC. I would take Reek and Cook, honestly. T. Higgins. Maybe. Let's see here. T. Higgins. I go T. Higgins for... I don't know if I'd do that. I don't know. Mason and CMC is tough. T. Higgins. I would probably say... Jeez, bro. You know what? Just do Mason for Reek. Mason for Reek. And maybe T for Cook. Chat, would you do Mason, CMC, and T. Higgins for Reek and Cook? Or are we too worried about Cook's future? Even the immediate future. Maybe we don't. Reek and Cook. Okay, the chat agrees with me. Cole, that's what I would come up with. That's the best I can do because your teams are kind of... There's not much more you can, massage around on those two squads, bro. Trader. Everybody's been... I don't know if everyone's autocorrect is now putting Trader. I've seen it a lot lately. Trader Mahomes, Kincaid for Caleb Bowers. Give me Mahomes and Kincaid personally. But bro, a lot of people are gonna say they don't want Mahomes, but that's fine. I'd take Mahomes. And Kincaid's tough to. I'm not saying I love Kincaid right now, but I still believe his talent is there. It's just a matter of will it change? I don't know. Kupp for Chase straight up. I'd take Jamar Chase, bro, like without hesitation over Cooper Kupp. And I love Cooper Kupp. That's not even close. Trade my Bijan and Debo for Gibbs and Achane. I would take Gibbs and Achane pretty easily. David, appreciate you. If you need a running back upgrade. Trade B-Rob, Jr., Najee, Debo for Jacobs and K9. Trade B-Rob, Najee, and Debo for Jacobs and K9. I don't know that I do that. Najee's playing good, and B-Rob's, when he's back, he's good. I don't know that I trust Jacobs right now. I like K9, but I'm going to say no to that. I'd trade B-Rob and Najee for K9 and keep Debo. Yeah, I don't think I do that, bro. I don't like that, David. This one's from Ram. Ram, appreciate you. Smitty traded Monty Godwin for Lamb DK. Monty Godwin for Lamb DK. Give me Lamb and DK all day long. All day long, bro. And other suggestions, trade Pollard on the high. Trade Pollard and D. Smith for an elite player. You already got Hill, though, so it makes it tough. That's the guy I'm always wanting people to get. Pollard and Lamb, or Pollard and, Pollard and Devontae Smith or Pollard and Olave for a Kyron Barkley upgrade or something like that. Olave and hold on. Hunt. JT. You're not gonna get Kyron. You're not gonna get Breece Hall unless you include a bigger player. Pollard and Olave for JT injured. Ayuk. I mean, I'd try Pollard, Ayuk, and Olave for a Breece Hall, or around that player territory, top 5 running back. If you could give up all 3 of those, Ayuk, Olave, and Pollard, Ayuk, Olave, and Hunt, possible. Aaron Jones, Olave, and Ayuk for a Kyron, for a Breece Hall, for a Barkley. Thomas, $5 hauler, would you trade Devontae for MHJ? I'd rather have Devontae Smith. His bye week's out of the way and he's on the field. Would you trade Pacheco using Bucky, Irving, or Chase Brown? Trade for Pacheco. I'd probably rather have Chase Brown, but I'd rather have Pacheco over Bucky for sure. Logan with a $20 hauler. Logan, appreciate you. This one real quickly. Jacob says Jaden Reed, Pop Douglas, and Brooks for Terry and Marv. I'd probably rather have Reed and Brooks than give me Terry and Marv, but it's really close. Reed and Brooks is pretty good. That's really good. And then trade K1, Dell, and Bijan for Barkley and McLaurin. I'd take Barkley and McLaurin pretty easily. Logan with this $20 hauler. Logan, appreciate you. Hurts, Mixon, Monty, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra, Kupp, Tucker Kraft, Benchworthy, Njoku, Leggett, Rashad White, Chase Brown, and Sam Darnold. I'm 1-5. Hope for me down the stretch? Question mark. I guess, man. I mean, Monty with the bye week out of the way, Tyreek with the bye week, Amon-Ra. You got hit with bye weeks, bro. Kupp bye week, yeah, definitely. And I'd probably say, like, you hold this team. What are you gonna do? You know, all these players have their bye already. You just got to let it ride. I know you're 1-5, but you got hit with bye weeks all at once, pretty much. Hurts is bye week free. Everyone's ready to rumble. You know, if you could turn Mixon into Gibbs, who's bye week free, or Kyron, who's bye week free, using, let's say, I don't know, any of the bench players, like Rashad White, Chase Brown, etc., then maybe. But Mixon's on a tear too, and you might want to gamble on him being a stud. But I would definitely take Gibbs over Mixon by adding those bench players. But do not trade any of the starters. Logan, hang strong. Your team is really good, bro. And thank you for the super chat. That team is just, you had all the buys. All the buys are out of the way. You're ready to rumble. Let it ride. Let it ride. Trust in the process. It's okay to drop Fields right now, but anybody that's in a Superflex league needs to scoop them up. Not in a Superflex. Just because I think Russ doesn't have a long time starting. 2 QB league, I give Lamar, Najee, MHJ for CeeDee, Walker, and Rodgers. In a 2 QB league, I give up Lamar, Najee, and MHJ for CeeDee, Ken Walker, and Rodgers. I probably, Chad, are we doing that? As much as I don't want to give up Lamar, Rodgers getting Adams makes me wonder. And you get Walker and CeeDee. Chat, what are we doing here? Can we vote on that one, please? Lamar side in a Superflex or get the CeeDee, Walker, and Rodgers side. Can we get a vote on that one, please? I'd let the chat answer that one, bro, because that is a tough one to answer. Please vote on that. K Woods, trade Terry Dell for CeeDee. Of course. Yeah, I mean, it's not even close, bro. Jacobs, Evans, Tracy for K9 Sharps and Andrews. I would rather have K9 side by a little bit, but that's a tough one. I love Evans. Keep Lamar. Keep Lamar. Lamar is too valuable. Lamar. The chat says Lamar. I'm gonna roll with the chat on this one just because. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, is it really easy to trust him? That's a tough one. 2 QB league. I give Lamar, Najee, MHJ for CeeDee and Walker. I think I answered that one, or that's the one we're talking about, right? I give Lamar, that's a 2 QB league. Okay, so we're gonna roll with Lamar. Look, Najee's playing good, but would I trade Najee? Would I try and go get this CeeDee Lamb side by giving up Najee and MHJ? Just do that. Do that trade alone. Jonathan. Dynasty non-superflex. Trade Olave plus Spears for Herbert, Estime, and a 25 first rounder. Trade Olave and Spears for... I'd probably keep Olave. I still like Olave. Unless it was a really early first round pick, bro. I'd rather have Olave. Rebuilding no backup quarterback for Caleb would give me 4 first rounders. Don't get addicted to just having a number. Like, I got 4 first rounders. Thomas, you said I missed your super chat. I highly doubt it, Thomas. But let's take a look. This is 90% of the time. 90% of the time we find this, and I think this is the Thomas that's asking. Debo and Achane for McLaurin and Hall. Yeah, I did not. I did this one. I was torn on it. I go back and forth on it even now. I think it's even Steven. I don't think there's a way to really even break this down. Debo, McLaurin, I'd rather have Debo by a hair. Some would disagree. Achane, Hall, I'd rather have Hall. But some would even disagree with that because you've got Achane without the bye already bye week out of the way. It's very even. I guess I would lean McLaurin Hall because McLaurin's playing on Debo's level, and I'd rather have Hall over Achane in a vacuum. Thank you for the super chat. Cam, would you rather have MHJ or Evans? Evans. I do like MHJ. I'd trade for MHJ on the low, but trade Charbonnet and Mark Andrews for Njoku. Andrews for Njoku. I'd probably say Njoku without Cooper, but he's hard. He doesn't stay healthy very often. It's hard to say. Trade away Garrett Wilson for Monty and D-Hop. I'd take Monty's much safer. I have Adams full PPR. Yeah, I'd take Monty. Monty's a much safer option. This one here, trying to get Hill and maybe Josh Allen. Do you think I can give Stroud and DK, or do you think I can get that done? So Stroud and DK for Hill and Josh Allen? Probably not, bro. I mean, it's not like DK just disappointed his owner, so I don't think that's possible. Try it, but I don't think it's going to get done. Traded Olave for Devontae Adams this morning. I don't hate that. I don't hate either side. I don't even think that's an L right now. With Olave out, who knows, bro? You know how many games he misses. I definitely take that if I need wins now. Adams is exciting. Need a kicker, and I'm not sure who to drop. 2-for-1 package: Kincaid, Kraft, Eckler, Wright, Achane, Leggett, Bucky. 2-for-1. I don't think anybody's taking these guys in a trade, bro. You know, I mean, Kraft or Kincaid, maybe, sure. Like, but I don't have any other information. Like, hard to say. You get a Worthy or a Tank Dell straight up for him, sure. But then that's not really, you know, what can you do 2-for-1 wise? Like Kraft and let's say a Deontay to get like a slightly better receiver. I'd do that if you could. If I had to cut somebody, I'm not super interested in Pop Douglas. I like him, but I'm not like banging down the door of an owner or like monitoring the waiver wire for him or even really picking him up very often unless I'm in dire straits, which I could be, but doesn't seem like you are. 3-3, Allen, Achane, Jacobs, Chubb, Tracy, CeeDee, Tyreek. Any moves? I'd probably say with this team, the only player I want to maybe move, I love your receivers, but I would be tempted to move like Higgins and Jacobs or Higgins and Chubb. Higgins, Tracy, Jacobs, Chubb, any combo of 3 of those guys to get that slight upgrade, that Tyreek Hill, who you already have, damn it. CeeDee, Tyreek Hill. So like a St. Brown potentially, maybe a Jacobs into H-N. You got H-N, damn it. Gibbs, Jacobs, Chubb, and Higgins for Gibbs may not work, may work. Running backs also to buy. Walker, Taylor, Kamara. So maybe you're able to get Kamara using that combo. Maybe you get JT and something. Walker and something small. Christopher, appreciate your $5 hauler. Trade Garrett Wilson for Monty, and D-Hop already did that one. Yes, I get Monty. Trade Kamara and Moore for Reed and Devontae Smith. Trade Kamara and DJ Moore for Reed and Devontae Smith. Pretty even. I'd probably say give me Kamara and DJ Moore, but very, very close. It depends if you need the RBs. JD5, Breece, Achane, Kupp, Puka, London, McLaurin, McBride. Any advice? Juju, Tracy, Bucky on the bench. Breece, Achane, Kupp, Puka, London, McLaurin, McBride. Any advice? Tracy, Bucky on the bench. Bucky's not going to be tradable. Tracy might be. I think Tracy and London for like a bigger name receiver, you know. McLaurin and Tracy for Hill. And some might like McLaurin over Hill, but I would take that gamble. I'm a gambling man, and boy, when you tell me I think I could get Hill at the old value, I love it. So I'm going after that all day long, bro. Breece, Achane, I like this. I like this team. I like Puka. I like everything else. Let's do McLaurin and Tracy for 1 wide receiver upgrade. You're trying St. Brown. You're trying Tyreek Hill. You're trying probably the highest you're going to be able to go is that territorial player, though. But that's the only thing that I'd even be tempted to do. I have Geno DK stack. Geno is no stack. You can't even call him a stack. AR5 on my bench. Do I try and trade AR5? I mean, yeah, after a big game, but no one's, even if he has a decent game, you have to have a monster game. No one's trading for him at all. I did not answer this one yet, so thank you, Justin. I'm sorry it took so long. I don't think you can make any trades here, though, Justin. I think you're just going to have to make sure you keep AR5. Geno's not a horrible start, but he's hard to trust, especially after last week. Chat, do you play AR5 this week or Geno? Can we get at least vote on that one for Justin? Justin, you're just going to have to try and buy low maybe on Mahomes. Would I trade DK for Mahomes and something? Why don't we try that? Why don't we trade DK for Mahomes and a player? See if it's possible. I don't know if it is. We got a Geno AR5, a Geno for the floor. Tough to say, bro. I mean, you could risk the biscuit on AR5 this week if he plays. Trade away my Jamar Chase and Mondre for Barkley. If you need an RB, I want Barkley. If you need a receiver, I want Chase. They're dead even. And Mondre doesn't really move the needle for me. I have all my Ross St. Brown neighbors, Debo, Kraft, and Love. My running back room is Sharps, Garendo, and Algier. I'm torn on it. I think you go with your gut because they're dead even players. Like if I'm drafting over today, they're both in the top 3 or 4. Marv Jacobs for Mason, Kamara, Garendo. I would take the Mason, Kamara, Garendo for sure. That's a good trade. It's risky, but it's fun. It's really fun. If I missed anybody's super chat, we've been live for like 3 hours. I'm probably going to head out. Appreciate every single one of you. I'll be back tomorrow. We had 2 videos already today. We'll probably draft tomorrow. If I missed a super chat at all, just put in the comments, not the live chat comments, the actual comments of the video. Smitty put a bunch of $signs. Don't fake it because I'll find out if you didn't super chat. And I won't answer your question, and I won't answer your next question to punish you for it. But if I missed your super chat, in the comments, put a bunch of $signs and say, Smitty, you missed my super chat. I will get back to it. I will answer. I appreciate everybody in here. I'm sorry I'm not answering the phones. It's just been a long night. I will see you all tomorrow. Appreciate every single one of you. I work for you. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, which is what this show was. live whenever big news breaks, and also live most midnights. And if anybody drops the super chat late and tries to slip it in and I miss it right now because I'm hitting the end button, make sure you repost it in the comments, not the live chat, in the comments. Appreciate every single one of you.